Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show where it pays to be economical with the truth. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian who recently filmed a fishing series for BBC2. Ironically, I never managed to catch it. It's Bob Mortimer. And an entertainer who started her career as a ballet dancer. In fact, she studied it at university, where she gained a tutu. It's Debbie McGee. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, a presenter and former footballer who once went to Coventry for £2 million. That's an expensive taxi. It's Dion Dublin. And a comedian who's 4 feet 11 inches tall. We've always seen eye to eye. It's Lucy Porter. We begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, they've got no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Now, Debbie is first up.
Right, here we go. The police once surrounded my house after I set off an alarm in my bikini bottoms.
David's team.
Interesting. Interesting location for the alarm. What was the alarm that you set off and how did you set
It was the house alarms. I was actually ironing in the garden with my bikini on, and I had the remote control for the alarms tucked down my bikini.
Let me stop you there. I could have sworn you said you were ironing in the garden in your bikini.
Yes.
It's a classic domestic scene.
I love that commitment to ironing. I haven't ironed anything since the late 90s, but very good.
We can tell, Lucy.
Yeah.
When was this, Debbie?
Oh, quite a few years ago now.
And in your bikini bottoms was the remote control for what?
That set off the house alarms.
For the burglar alarm?
Yes,
essentially.
So I don't know what you call them.
A panic button.
Be like a panic button, yeah.
I think if I was in the garden in a bikini ironing, I'd feel very vulnerable because there's a lot of flesh, isn't there, in the iron? You know how easy the phone rings and you do that? Did you not
to be honest, if you're gonna smash the iron into your head, it doesn't matter whether you're wearing a bikini or the uniform of the Chelsea pensioners, you're still gonna get burned.
So what happened when you pressed the alarm? Who was alerted and what did they do?
So I didn't know because it doesn't set the alarms off. It just rings the police. And so 15 policemen came round the corner.
They shouted, "No, start with the collar, then the sleeves."
I never tried it again, so I don't know.
How did they react? Did they see the funny side?
Yes.
No, she wasn't facing them.
I know that's rude, but I can't quite figure out why. OK, well, I mean, it's elaborate, it's odd, it's unusual. Is it true?
In my younger days as a sun worshipper, I would do anything outdoors. When you're young and you want a tan, you just do anything.
What do you think?
Oh, I think...
You know you had to make quicker decisions on the football pitch, don't you?
I think that's true.
You think it's true?
I think
you think it's true? We think it's true.
They think it's true. Debbie, truth or lie?
It's true.
Yes, it's true. Debbie did once set off an alarm that was in her bikini bottoms. Dion, you're next.
Right. I once sneezed so hard in my car, I set off the airbag.
Please, team.
Wow. That is a big sneeze. Where were you?
I was in my car.
Whereabouts was the car in the country?
I was on a motorway.
Oh, you were travelling. At what speed?
Yes. About 65, 70.
Are you saying that you sneezed and the airbag went off, or are you saying you sneezed, crashed the car, and the airbag went off?
I sneezed, airbag went off, and because I was on the inside lane, I just pulled over.
The sheer force of the air from your nostrils and mouth. This can't have happened since your birth on the planet Krypton.
Did you contact the manufacturers? Can you tell us which kind of car it is?
It was an Audi A7.
Was it?
Yes.
Are you sure it wasn't an Audi do that because it doesn't sound feasible?
Take us back to the beginning, Dion.
Yes.
Where were you travelling to?
I was on the M6 going from Warwickshire to Manchester.
What did you have to do?
For work, yes.
And what is it that you do?
I talk a little bit on the TV.
So you're some punditry.
I was going to do final score of Match of the Day or Football Focus.
So, Dane, you didn't cover your face when you sneezed.
No,
so that's a naughty boy, isn't it?
Not as naughty as driving without using your hands.
Yes.
Shoo! See, I'm very polite.
And would you say that, as a rule, you are a loud, violent sneezer? Because some are. Some give a little...
I didn't... Yes.
And some go... Gah!
There's one thing worse than both of those, and that is the people that threaten to do a big one, and it's a little one. You know, the ones that go... Can't stand those. They do my head in. What's the build-up for, then?
Where do you fall? Which of those camps are you in?
I'm quite a loud, violent sneezer.
You are,
Which I
aren't
didn't think I was until I nearly killed myself.
Did you make it to work?
In another car, yes.
Who picked you up?
The dealership. I just rang the dealership straight away.
You rang the dealership?
You don't ring the dealership when you've had an accident.
Because I was on the M6, I was close to where the dealership was, and I thought that would be easier for them to come out and deal with my... I'd get a new car as well. They gave me a new car.
So the dealership...
This is the focus of disbelief, isn't it? Dealership.
The dealership I got the car from was in Warwickshire.
Right.
So I called them. I know the guy that owns the
set off.
dealership. I know the guy that owns the dealership.
What's his name?
Send someone out. Lee.
Lee... Oh! Is that right? Is his surname Mac? What's his surname?
Do you know him?
What's Lee's surname?
Beacon.
Oh, is that why you could see him from so far away? Did Lee personally come and pick you up?
No, he sent one of his staff.
What was his name? Was it Debbie?
Bob.
Bob. What was Bob's surname? Light bulb.
Is this true? What are you thinking, Bob?
Well, I'm thinking that big lad like Dion, maybe it could do it. I always go, achoo, pussycat, whoa, whoa, whoa. I've always found it amusing. Achoo, pussycat. Bang! I say true.
Debbie?
I just think if it was true, it would have happened to a lot more people, and we can't do that sort of research.
That's the trouble. The scope for research before answering the question on the show is very limited. I always think if we could go away for a couple of weeks, really work on the questions, then we get a lot more right. But...
So, what's it going to be?
I'm going to go with Debbie and say it's not true.
OK. Dion, truth or lie?
It's a lie.
Yes, it was a lie all along. Dion didn't set off the airbag in his car with a sneeze. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Jonathan. So, Debbie, what is Jonathan to you?
Well, this is Jonathan, and when he was a baby, I used to pull him out of a top hat.
Bob, how do you know Jonathan?
This is my friend Jonathan, and I have brewed 3 award-winning beers with him.
Right. And finally, Lee, what's your relationship with Jonathan?
This is Jonathan. One Sunday, the two of us spent 3 hours trapped in an automatic car wash.
David's team, where will you begin?
Well, Debbie, So you used to pull Jonathan out of a top hat?
Yeah, he
And
was
so, how old was he then?
about 6 months
6
old.
months.
Was he a rabbit at that stage? He's grown up into a lovely bunny.
What a cougar comment that was.
He's going for it, though. Look, he's aflame with desire. Look at him.
He's got the right hairstyle to be pulled out of a top hat.
So, where did this happen?
This was in a summer season
Where?
in Bournemouth.
Debbie, how big was the top hat then?
It was a prop top hat, so it was a bit bigger than a normal one. But, you know, babies aren't very big. He was only about this big.
6 months, not very big.
Yeah.
And so...
And was he the son of someone else in the summer season? Or
No,
one of the
was-
Chuckle Brothers' offspring or something?
No, it was a feature in the show, and we had different babies on different nights. You know, they were like in rotation, and they came from an agency.
So, who would bring Jonathan to the theatre?
His mother.
His mother?
Yeah.
And what would happen to him? I mean, I don't want you to give away the magic trick too much, but where was he stowed up to the moment where he's pulled out of the top hat?
I can't tell you because I'm a member of the Magic Circle and I can't give
That
the
is a
secrets
really
away.
handy thing for this
Yeah.
game. I like it. Can you come on every week?
Well, don't give anything away, Debbie, but talk us through the trick.
There was a pretend rabbit, and then Paul would lift this big top hat from underneath and tipped it forward. And that's when I would come over as the assistant and take Jonathan out and say, and here's the rabbit's turned into a real live baby.
And the audience
And I'd
went,
be like this.
boo, we hate babies.
No, they
How long did they have to wait to be revealed?
Not very long. It wasn't a very long trick.
So they were only briefly on stage before the
They were only briefly in
reveal
terrifying darkness alone.
Which they are in a cot when they go to sleep
Yes.
at night.
And indeed in a womb.
Yeah.
I mean, that is the ultimate trick, isn't it?
Now, who would you like to question next?
Yeah. Bob.
Remind us what it was that you've said. How do you know Jonathan?
Because I have brewed 3 award-winning beers with Jonathan.
What are the names of your award-winning beers?
The one that's my favourite is called Kiss the Alderman. That's an IPA.
Kiss the Alderman, an IPA, yes.
IPA. Another one was a stout, and it was called Retail Park.
Retail Park.
And the other one was a lager, and that was called... Not now, madam. It seems funny now. That's why we used it.
Madam Lager. Kiss the Alderman, Retail Park.
Can I just say, he's written these down, so I hope you can remember them.
How long did you two work together for?
About 2 years ago, I was in a field, Dion, collecting some mud to go and bury at home in my garden. And along came Jonathan, or J-Keg, as I call him. And he said, I recognise you off the telly, you're that Ray Mears, is what he said. And we got chatting, and he said, do you like beer? I said, I like beer. He said, would you like to brew some beer? And
quick!
I said, yes, I would, rather urgently, actually.
I've run out!
And he's got a brewery, JPEG.
Yeah.
It's a lean-to next to a barn, right next to the field where I was. It's quite big, actually. It might be a lean 3 or a lean. So I went in this marvellous little brewery that I'm imagining, and we mashed. Well, part of the process is mashing.
Right.
You put a load of hot water in the cylinder, and you have to stir the malt barley.
Yeah.
And I did that bit of it. And I thought, I adore this. Is there any way that I could see this process through, and we could call this beer Kiss the Alderman?
What is the Alderman?
He's an unelected council official. Say, for example, let's focus in on Bolton. So if Bolton had a large Chinese community, but there was no representatives, councillors, they would say, would you like to informally nominate one of your Chinese community, and they will become an alderman, and they will sit on the council and be able to represent.
Right. No, that makes sense. So we've definitely covered what happens to the Chinese community in Bolton. However, back to the beer story.
Yeah, so and that was Christy Alderman. So we brewed 1,000 litres, bottled it, and it was the top beer in the Kent Craft Ale Society.
Can I ask, my husband is a brewer, what hops did you use?
Citrus hops. One of them's called something, and the other one likewise is named as well.
I mean, this all checks out.
You know what? The thing that is the hipster brewing beard. If you were to say to me, draw a brewer, that's what I'd draw.
That's what you draw now. It's very interesting.
Now.
Whereas,
Wow, really?
whereas if someone asked you to draw a brewer 30 years ago, you'd draw someone very different, wouldn't you?
I'd draw you.
Now, what about Lee? Lee, remind us of your claim.
This is Jonathan. One Sunday, the two of us got trapped for 3 hours in an automatic car wash.
Where was it? Where was the car wash?
It was just outside the car. Near where I live in southwest London.
Whose car was it? Who's driving?
It was my car.
And was Jonathan in your car with you?
Correct, he was the passenger.
Why? How do you know
Because
Jonathan?
we can't both drive.
How do you know Jonathan?
I know Jonathan because we're in the same football team.
What is it, a bring your granddad team?
So you were you driving back from football?
Driving to football.
Driving to football.
Washing your car on the way to football. Oh, I'm looking forward to the game, young Jonathan. I really can't wait. But tell you what, let's wash the car first, so that when we arrive, everybody says, oh, Lee's doing well.
You drove into the car wash, and what happened?
So, there was 3 options. It was gold, silver or bronze. And obviously, being from the north of England, I was looking for a lesser metal than all 3. But it stopped at bronze. So I went in and I said, can I have a car wash? And he gave me the token, and I went back out and I
Was it a token? Sometimes it's a code these days.
All right, then what he said was, the token is where the squirrel likes to hide.
When I say code, I don't mean riddle. I mean a series of numbers that you put into a keypad.
On this occasion, it wasn't.
You put the token in the slot.
Yes.
You advance into the car wash. The weird things start going.
Yeah, so the big brush at the front that goes over your bonnet, that came towards us.
Yeah.
And then the side ones came. It was the side ones that caused the main issue. They got to the door, stopped, and just kept doing that, and we couldn't open the doors. And it did not stop for 3 hours. I know, it sounds unbelievable.
What? Why don't you climb over into the back seat and get out one of the rear doors?
Because it's a 2-door car.
And I'm assuming this happened before the invention of the mobile phone.
No, that was not true. It was during the invention of the mobile phone.
During it?
During the invention. No, in fact, do you know what we did? We were so stuck, didn't know what to do for 3 hours, we decided to invent the mobile phone. No, it was... his phone was in his sports bag in the boot.
Where was your phone?
My phone was with me.
Why didn't you use your phone?
Because the battery had gone.
How did you eventually get out?
I absolutely screamed and screamed, and this stranger passing by saw a big button on the thing that said, emergency stop. So he pressed the button, and it stopped, and when it stopped, it reset itself back to how it should be. We opened the door, and I went in. And he went, oh, you're back again. I said, yes, that's about my car. So what's up? I said, tell you what's up. The doors are phenomenally clean.
All right. We need an answer. So, David's team. Is Jonathan Debbie's magic mate? Bob's brewing buddy or Lee's car wash companion?
I can't believe Lee's story is the kind of story I would have to invent to tell my husband if I'd been in a car with Jonathan for 3 hours. Jonathan looks like a hipster brewer to me.
What do you think?
I think it's Bob. I think they're mates and they've done some brewing together, yeah.
Yeah, OK,
You think Bob met him in a field while collecting mud? He said, come and have a look at my brewery.
Yes, yes.
And we're going to call our beer Kiss My Alderman.
It's not Kiss My Alderman. It's Kiss the Alderman.
I'm so sorry. If it's true, I'm sorry.
Rob, you can immediately appreciate why Kiss the Alderman is much more marketable than Kiss My Alderman. I certainly call mine the Alderman.
But very popular with the Chinese community.
So, David, what are you going to say?
I think my team thinks it's Bob. Yeah, but let's go.
OK, you're going to say Bob. OK. Jonathan, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jonathan, and I brew beer with Bob.
Yes, Jonathan is Bob's brewing buddy. Thank you very much, Jonathan. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lies, and we start with... It's Bob.
Sorry?
It's you, Bob.
It's apple pie tonight.
Is it? It's Friday, then?
Yes.
Following advice from Chris Rea, I always crack an egg into my bath. I've done for 22 years.
We should say for any of the younger viewers, some of my fans, who Chris Rea was a very popular singer.
When did Chris Rea give you this advice, and in what context?
I was making a single for Middlesbrough Football Club's FA Cup appearance called Let's Dance, which I did with Chris Rea. And after we'd completed the recording, he popped me into the bath, and there was an egg. It's an egg in it.
He popped you into the bath. It's been a long day. You must be very tired. Yeah. I'll just pop you into the bath. Yeah. So where was this bath? Was it at the recording studio?
It's on a little island in the middle of the Thames. It's as Rare's recording studio is.
So you've been recording, presumably in a room without a bath.
Absolutely, yeah.
And then you finish the recording, everyone's very happy with the track.
Yep.
And he says, Bob, you look tired. Maybe your joints are aching this way.
No, it's not exactly like that. It says, that's it, Bob, I think we've got that leg. That's your bedroom, that's your bath. I've popped an egg in there for you.
Is he Geordie?
Yeah.
He's like where I'm from, Middlesbrough.
Right.
But he's much more Middlesbrough than me, like.
And why would he put an egg in your bath? What was the thinking behind it?
I've never found out.
You've done it ever since.
All I know is that I woke up the next morning and I have never felt so alive.
Was the egg still in its shell, floating, or had he gone...
No, the white had dissipated. Does that work?
Yeah.
It's fabulous. It's fabulous. It's non-greasy, which is a boon, isn't it?
Is it non-greasy?
Yeah, honestly.
It's less greasy than water without egg in it?
Do you have to mix it up, or do you just crack it and let it float?
Do you know what? You get in the bath, even in the bath where I am now, and you get in and you really don't want to burst the yolk. So the white goes, but the yolk's there, and you move like that, and you try and get it to come towards like that. And I don't know why, but you just do.
Have you ever had it get in your mouth?
You get it there like that.
Have you ever done that?
And then you get the yolk, and I use it for hair conditioning.
Really?
I don't have much hair, but to condition the hair on my skin.
So, just going back to the original occasion, Chris Rea had already run you a bath.
Yes.
I forgot about that detail.
if you knew, Chris, it's just so Chris.
Yeah.
Do you know what? The other thing is a couple of weeks later, he sent me a gold doily.
Right. To dry yourself off.
So, I'm just saying, these things are just so Chris.
Do we think that the way Bob describes what happened to the egg white, is that... He says it just dissipates. Is that
If your
plausible?
mouth is hot, then you're going to have a poached white.
I'd have thought the white would turn white. And
Well,
there'd be bits of white.
How hot is your bath? Your bath is hot enough that an egg could poach
Well, I
you.
don't know. Your claim is that it dissipates. I'm asking my team whether we believe that it would dissipate. Because if, for example, at the temperature of bath, say 39 degrees Celsius, the white would turn opaque, then your story doesn't check out.
Agreed.
Yeah,
Absolutely agreed.
I think...
What do you think, David?
I think it's fair to say that if anyone else had made this allegation about Chris Rea and an egg in their bath, we wouldn't be giving it a moment's consideration. Somehow, coming from Bob, it might be true.
It's true.
I think...
You think it's...
I think it's true, because he's been about a bit, Bob.
No.
I think the white would poach.
Yeah,
I think the egg is the
the
important
chemical
part.
analysis of the behaviour of the albumin.
David, honestly, one thing, please don't base it on the albumin whitening. It does not happen. It does not. I can't have a bath at 80+ degrees.
Is that the temperature at which an egg white will
80 it'll start at about 80, yeah. Honestly, please don't base it on that.
What should I base it on, Bob?
What are you going to say?
Instinctively, I believe it. We're going to go true.
You're saying true? OK, so, Bob, Chris Rea, eggs, baths, is it the truth or is it a lie?
This is awful.
I was telling a lie.
Of course it's a lie! He said Chris Rea put an egg in his bath! Of course it's a lie! It's obviously a lie! Who could possibly believe that? It'd be more likely that someone was stuck in a car wash for 3 hours.
Yes, it's a lie. Bob doesn't crack an egg into his bath following advice from Chris Rea. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal that it's a draw. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show that sorts the facts from the fibs. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a TV star who can light up a room just by entering it. Yes, his teeth really are that bright. It's Rylan Clark-Neal. And a retail expert who, on her first day working for Harrods, knew she was going up in the world. She was the lift attendant. It's Mary Portas. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, she's a feminist and a vegan. So she wants to smash the glass ceiling, but doesn't quite have the strength. It's Sarah Pascoe. And a comedian who is also a fully qualified GP. He knows that laughter is the best medicine, although penicillin comes a close second. It's Paul Sinner. We begin with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Rylan is first up.
OK. I was once mugged by a fox.
Please, team.
Was it Edward Fox?
I didn't catch his name, please.
So, when was this?
This was... I was probably about 18.
18?
Yes, about 11 years ago. I'm only 29.
And what did he get? Your glassy mints?
No! I was on a night out with my friends, and I'd split from my friends, and my friend didn't live too far from where we had the night out.
Where, Rylan? Which part of the country?
It was in Essex. It was in Romford. So I decided to walk back to his, and he lives in, like, a cul-de-sac, like a dead-end road.
Yeah, we know what a cul-de-sac is.
What you don't know is that in Romford they're quite posh.
Yeah.
It's an important detail.
It's a very important detail, a cul-de-sac.
That's French.
Yeah.
It's only dead end, literally, not metaphorically. These people are going places.
It depends what side of Romford.
Right, yeah.
So I'm walking down his road, and as I'm walking down this road, there's a wall, and there was a fox on the wall, and I was a little bit...
On the wall?
On the wall, just perched
What's
on the
he
wall.
doing up there?
Just looking at me. And, you know, I don't know if anyone else does this, but if there's, like, a fox or anything, I just sort of stamped my foot and went, you know, for it to run away. Instead, the fox slyly crawled down the wall and walked towards me.
Oh, my word.
Like, really slowly as well.
Right.
Which put me on edge. Now, I've got my phone in one hand and my wallet in the other. I was wearing an extremely skinny pair of trousers. I had no pockets, right? So, as I've gone, like, what the hell is going on with this fox? The fox jumped towards me. It leapt off of all of its legs.
Yeah.
And...
Whoa. How many legs?
4. All 4
Can
of
I
its
just check?
legs.
Does that add up?
Yeah.
OK, carry on.
Thank you. And in the ruckus, like the panic, I've gone, oh, and dropped my phone and wallet, and it grabbed my wallet in its mouth and ran away.
It ran away with the wallet?
It ran away with my wallet in its mouth.
When you rang your bank, were there any unauthorised uses of your credit card?
Well, it's funny because I did have to ring the bank the following day, and I said, my wallet's been stolen, I need to cancel my
direct debit
cards.
from a chicken coop.
And they said, oh, that's fine, we can cancel your cards, but if you could get a crime reference number, because you've said it's been stolen, we need to just log it on the system. I said, yeah, that's fine. So I had to ring the police and describe the assailant.
And how did you describe him?
Ginger and fluffy.
He didn't take the phone, did he?
No, I kept the phone. I was very lucky.
And did it come back? Did you...
No.
It never came back?
Never found it again, so there's some fox out there having a right old jolly up.
What do you think? Could it be true?
Did you not make any attempt to chase him, or...?
No, I was just in a panic, and I just wanted to get to the nearest point of safety.
I think it's a lie.
I think it's a lie. On the one hand, I don't think he's telling the truth. On the other hand, I've never got one of these right in my entire life. So,
Wow.
balancing...
You didn't tell us that before we booked you.
No.
For what it's worth, I've never got anything right on the chase.
Neither have I.
You surprised me. I don't think he's telling the truth, no.
I think he's lying.
OK, yeah, we'll say it's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. Rylan, mugged by a fox. Truth or lie?
It is, in fact, very true, and I'm embarrassed.
It's true. Rylan really has been mugged by a fox. Sarah, you're next.
OK. It says possession.
Now, first of all, read out the card, and then when you've done that, take the object and pop it on the desk.
I once bought a chest of drawers for my bedroom online. I realised I'd made a terrible mistake when this arrived.
David's team.
Is it a doll's house one, is it?
All the evidence is
it?
there, Mary. No, that's full size.
Yeah.
She's massive.
Sarah, on those things, when you buy online, they do have measurements. Did you not think to look at that?
I knew that with things like clothes and shoes. I didn't know some charlatans were making furniture
this small.
So you think they were charlatans? They weren't just sincerely
They're
making
tricksters.
doll's house furniture. They were trying to pass off doll's house furniture as full-size furniture online.
That's what I think they're doing.
You weren't surprised by the comparatively inexpensive postage and packing?
No. Actually,
If out, put through letterbox.
honestly, if you saw a picture of this just close...
It's massive!
How much was it, Sarah?
Yeah.
£35.
So did you just think you were getting like a full-on bargain?
Very
Yeah.
cheap.
Yeah, but that's
right.
gone from a relative bargain to a lot to pay for that.
I was disappointed.
Do the drawers actually open and shut? Is it functional?
The thing is, Rob, in a way, it's just like a normal chest of
It really is,
drawers.
isn't it?
Oh.
Like, you can put stuff in there, it's just not big enough for my trousers and my...
Sarah, so do you normally buy online your furniture?
I've got this habit at the moment, Mary. I like to buy things when I'm drunk, and then it's a surprise.
Why did you not send it back?
Yes. Because you can on these things, you can contact the seller, can't you? And you can
Do you know,
rate them or complain.
Can I be truly honest with you?
Please do.
Honestly,
How are you going to be?
Again, I love this. And I was too embarrassed to say that I hadn't checked the measurements.
Where do you keep it now?
I keep it in my kitchen.
Why?
Well, I like to put money in there.
How much? How much money can you get in there?
£1 in there.
Yeah.
£2 in there.
Yeah.
A rolled up £5.
Yeah.
And then
Careful.
a 20 if I've had to get a cab a long way. It's good. It's good for spares. It's good for if you're tipping someone who's delivered you something.
A
like
pound, 2 or 5.
Yeah.
Depending.
What if you want to do 3? That would kill me, that.
You just add the one to the
£1 and a
two.
2.
What do you think? Mary, what are you thinking?
It's a sweet story, Sarah, but I cannot believe you buy when you're drunk. So
What about you?
I think it's a lie, Sarah.
Ryland?
I disagree a little bit with Mary because I am a drunk buyer. I do like it late at
but I
night going,
believe
oh, I love something like that. But not a chest of drawers.
So what are you going to say, David, as
think it's a
captain of
lie.
your
You
team?
think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie.
Well, we're going to say lie.
Got to be a lie, then. OK, Sarah.
Yep.
Truth or lie?
OK, I'm very relieved to tell you that it is true.
Yes, it's true. Sarah did buy a tiny chest of drawers by mistake. Paul, you're next.
35 quid. Sorry, just 35 quid per one of them.
I would rather, when drunk, give up 35 quid for that than panic and give my wallet over to a drunk
Is
fox.
this your... You weren't there, Paul!
Every night, to cram in as much learning as possible, I read a book while simultaneously listening to a completely different audiobook.
David's team.
OK, what was the last book and audiobook simultaneously you read and listened to?
It was Trevor Montague's this is the book, Trevor Montague's A to Z of Everything, which is the absolute Bible of general knowledge. And it was the Guinness Book of Records audiobook, but not for this year, but they do for every year since 1956 when it was founded. And I have an obsession with 1984.
Why?
Why do you do two together? Why? And can you actually feed and retain the information?
Well, can you is the question I can't really answer, because general knowledge is basically about learning as many facts as possible and then hoping they come up. But I only really do this in the 2 to 3 weeks before any major general knowledge quiz.
Because you're a big quizzer.
I'm the 5th ranked quiz in the United Kingdom, which is...
All right, don't boast.
But then, of course, the other 4, they listen to one, read one, and they've got one on Braille as well.
Oh, can I ask you a question?
Yes.
Can you give me 3 Guinness World Records from 1984, please?
I'll give you one that still stands. Robert Pershing-Wadlow is the tallest man of all time, 8 feet 11 3/4.
I knew
one
that.
that doesn't stand, that was stood in 84, is the previous year Calvin Smith broke the world record for the 100 metres, just before the World Athletics Championships, with 9.93
I didn't understand a word you
seconds.
just said.
Just trying to answer your question. And the third one is in 1984, Ronald Reagan beat Walter Mondale in the largest percentage of the vote, something like 73.6% of the vote.
Is that true?
When he beat Walter Mondale in the US presidential election.
Why are you asking us?
I don't know. I'm very flattered that you think I know about Eric American elections in that much statistical detail.
Who was #1 in the charts November 1984?
Flex.
Well, that was actually May.
You're making it up.
So it was Chaka Khan, I Feel For You, with a harmonica by Stevie Wonder, a rap by Melly Mel, written by Prince. Chaka Khan, I Feel For You was #1 in November 1984.
This is not a general knowledge quiz.
There's no evidence if that's true at all.
Which Rod Stewart song was a #1 in 1984?
Do you mean Baby Jane 1983?
Yes, I do.
I'll tell you what, I really feel even more stupid that I couldn't add 2 and 1.
Where do you do this, Paul?
Well, I only live in a 2-bed flat. There's not many choices.
So you do it at home, you don't
I do it, oh, yeah, I do it absolutely at home.
All right.
Can I just say, you said there was 2-bedroom, not many choices. I think you'll find there's not many options, there's only one choice.
I feel like when someone in the pub is trying to fight someone who's a bit bigger than they are. They're going to hold you back from this.
What was the other book again?
Trevor Montague's A to Z of Everything, if one's allowed to advertise on a BBC TV show. It was...
Well, I think we should say other impenetrably boring books are available.
Right. David, what's
what
it
do you
going to be?
think, Mary?
Well, I believe him. I do. I just think it sounds very boring. And I don't think you are. So, therefore, I think it's the truth.
I think he's lying. I think he's coming at me with facts to confuse me. This is what they do.
I'm going to go lie.
You're going to say it's a lie?
Yeah.
Paul, were you lying or were you telling the truth?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Paul doesn't read one book while listening to another. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Paul. So, Rylan, what is Paul to you?
This is Paul. Paul's my plumber, and he came over to fix a leak, but ended up cutting my hair.
Right, so, Rylan's hairdressing handyman. Mary, how do you know Paul?
This is Paul, and every Christmas I sing carols to Paul's cows.
Mary's festive friend. And David, what is your relationship with Paul?
This is Paul, and while browsing in a bathroom showroom, he persuaded me to hop in a tub with him to test whether it would fit him and his wife.
Lee's team, where do you want to begin?
All right, we'll start with Rylan. When was this haircut?
This was Big Brother Power Trip 2014.
What did you say before that?
I measure years by Big Brothers.
Big brother.
How many brothers have you got?
No, I work on Big Brother, so I do it by the theme, and the reason Paul came round... I measure it by Big Brothers, 2014.
Was he giving you a haircut for Big Brother?
No, but he ended up giving me a haircut for Big Brother. So my brother-in-law knows Paul, because my brother-in-law's an electrician, and he said, Paul, do the plumbing, because my brother-in-law did the electric.
Is everyone playing tax? Just checking, because I know how these things can be.
You know what it's like.
Paul's giving me a right look.
Where was the leak?
It was basically my shower was dripping, and I'd called my hairdresser Hayley, and because who comes to my house to cut my hair and colour my hair, because this isn't real, guys. Shock.
Yeah.
And I said, babe, can you come and do my hair? It's Big Brother starts tomorrow. It's the launch. I need my cut and colour done. And she said, babe, I'm in Tenerife. And I was like, are you joking? It's fine. I used to do hair when I was 16. I said, I'll just do my own colour because I've got everything indoors anyway. So I put my colour on, and then when I went to wash my hands, I realised that there weren't no water coming out of the tap. So I rang Paul and said, Paul, come over to fix my taps, and yeah.
And then what happened?
Well, then basically Paul came over and he fixed everything, and I said, Paul, you wouldn't do me a favour, would you? I've obviously got everything at home. All I needed was, like, my sides and my back just shaved, and I've obviously got the razor. It's, like, number 4 setting or whatever.
Why have you got all the equipment at home?
Because I studied hair when I was 16.
Can I
so
say
I've got
one
everything at home.
rookie error?
With?
You. What you
you done is you talk about washing your hands. Everyone, even if they're doing
Gloves.
it, wears gloves.
Yeah,
So why have you got it
because
on
I was,
your hands?
Because I was colouring my own hair, so I
Yeah,
had to
so
do
they
the
cut
back.
the gloves
and I-
come in the packet.
Yeah, but it doesn't go all the way out there, darling.
Oh, so it was this
David,
part
when
of
you
your
do
arm.
yours, do you wear gloves or do you mind the dye going on?
I just get a team of people round. I think, you can't afford to take risks with your look.
Yeah.
So this was one day before you were due to film Big Brother?
It was on the Thursday and we launched on the Friday.
You let a plumber with a razor blade shave the back of your head before you did national television.
Right, it was very, very simple. It was brilliant.
Here's a detail then. So, he fixed the water, and then you had a shower to get all of the stuff out of your hair. And
Yeah.
what did Paul do while you were in the shower?
I'd made Paul a coffee, and this is before, obviously, that I took my colour off, and I said, Paul, do you mind just sticking around 15 minutes just while I wash this colour off? I'll dry my hair and we just shave it.
This sounds a little bit like the start of Confessions of a Plumber. Oh, Paul, I just need to pop into the shower. Paul came in and there was some 70s jazz music.
And what sort of job did he do? Was you pleased with it?
Yeah, very pleased. Everyone said my hair looked nice.
How long did it
we
take?
did a good job. Like 5 minutes, not even
Well,
that.
it's about 25 minutes if he's a plumber with fag breaks and tea breaks. He didn't react, he's not a plumber.
I think he might have died.
OK, so, shall we move on to Mary?
Mary, yes.
Mary,
Just remind us,
Into
Mary,
cows.
what is it that you claim here with Paul?
I sing to Paul's cows at Christmas.
Oh, yes.
Right, what do you sing to them?
Away in a manger.
You sing Away in a Manger to them,
Yeah, and what's that one?
Well, you should know, you do it every year.
Cattle are lowing, the babe. That one, the baby
That is
away.
Away in a Manger.
Yeah.
That's away.
And,
Yeah, that one. I sing that one.
I suppose the big question has to be why.
Well, because apparently they really like it. I'm not a particularly good singer. I'm not a particularly good singer, but they like being sung to, and it's a kind of.
Well, why do they like being sung to?
They find it very moving.
Yeah, and
Is there a reason that he chooses you as opposed to somebody who admits they can sing well?
well, no, it's not just me. I'm part of the community who, live near Paul, and, we all get together to sing.
What's the actual purpose of this?
Lots of things. You give thanks, it's Christmas. And probably, that the cows are going to be in for the chop.
Well, I was about to say, if you really want to thank the cow in a way that would mean something to the creature, you've got to let him go.
Well,
That doesn't make any sense at all. What are you thanking them for, then?
Yeah.
The thing you're thanking them for, you then don't get. The key thing, if what you're thanking them for is their forthcoming deliciousness, you've got to do it in advance, because afterwards they can't hear you.
he's really caring farmer, I have to say this. He's, a
Tell that to
little
the
bit of a
cows.
hippie. And I'm a bit of a hippie, and we connect, and we sort of think, this is a really lovely thing to do.
Not so much of a hippie that you don't mind killing the cows.
Hippies can kill cows.
You probably don't kill the cows yourself.
I
You
don't
outsource them. That's the system.
I don't kill them.
Don't kill the cows yourself.
I sing to them.
That's very messy and upsetting. Send them to an abattoir. A lovely abattoir. A pampering abattoir. It's like a spa, but with knives.
Right, what about David?
So, David, remind us again.
While browsing in a bathroom showroom, Paul persuaded me to try out a bathtub with him to see if it would fit him and his wife.
Right.
So
How did he approach you? What was the conversation?
Well, he approached me and said that he recognised me from the television.
Right.
On which I have appeared.
Oh. You had your I'm David Mitchell T-shirt on again, did you?
What were you shopping for that day?
A small basin or sink.
A small one?
A small one.
Don't want to treat yourself?
Like those guys.
Somebody can sort you out.
Yeah, no, I should clarify. It was what I was looking for was to human scale.
David, what was going through your mind when a complete stranger walks up to you and says, I know you from the telly, will you get into the bathtub with me?
Well, it didn't happen like that. It didn't.
All right, then. It didn't happen like that, but tell us another version how it didn't happen.
Well, he initially said, I like your work on television.
Really?
It's a lie.
I'm going to say it. He asked for a selfie. We took a selfie, so it was very nice. I was feeling my...
It was very nice.
My fragile... Yeah, it was nice. Look, it's not an accident we're in this business. On some level, we have an emptiness inside that we need to fill with the approval of strangers. And a little bit of the approval of a stranger was making me feel a bit better about myself. Thank you very much.
And David...
Albeit briefly, and then it turned out he had an ulterior motive.
David, I need you to act this up because we're all talking about this like it's sensible. But it's too intimate. Unless...
We were clothed.
I know. I want to know which way round. Did you sit opposite each other with your legs
No, we both sat at the same end.
So you were spooning you.
No, of course we sat at opposite ends.
Did you choose the tap end or the non-tap end?
The tap was in the middle.
So this is the thing. For an actual rational human being to think, I wonder if I'll fit in this massive bath with my wife, I'll ask this minor celebrity that I don't know. I meant to start...
Look, Elton John was in the shop and he'd said no.
Will you do it with Rylan for me?
OK, well...
So what am I to see?
Well, we've got to imagine we're getting in a... You're a very tall man.
I'm quite tall.
God almighty, I can see why you can't get phones in a wallet in those.
As a working hypothesis, let's say this rectangle is broadly the bath.
Yeah.
So...
Is there any blood going to your feet?
You're in the bath showroom.
So you sit at that end, the tap's here.
Is this what you did? You took control, David?
No, I didn't take control. And then, as you can see, our legs sort of... our legs sort of, tessellated. No, in between.
You know what this is making me think, David? I'm picturing... You just look at each other now, and I'm picturing a voiceover saying, there are many ways to keep a relationship fresh and alive. Why not try sharing a bath together? I think, well done. Right, now then, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Paul Ryland's hairdressing handyman, Mary's festive friend, or David's bath buddy?
What do you think?
The only story that made any kind of sense whatsoever was Ryland's.
Why?
Ryland's?
Yeah, Ryland's.
Oh.
I can believe that a man whose obsession is being legendarily well-groomed and stylish would panic and get his plumber to do his hair. I could just about believe that.
I've been looking at Paul while everyone's been talking, and he really did light up during David's story. Like, he was really enjoying it, like he was a fan of David.
Or it might be the first time he's heard it.
It's true. It's true as well.
What about the farming? What do you think about Mary?
That's the one I think is true.
The farmer?
I think that some local people would go and sing for animals at a local farm. This is a thing to do.
I do believe that you can sing to a cow. I believe slightly more that somebody would have their hair cut by a plumber. However, not him. I mean, who did your teeth? The Tyler? Go on, then. We'll say Mary.
You're going to say it's Mary? OK. Paul, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Paul, and every Christmas Eve...
Yes, Paul is Mary's festive friend. Thank you very much, Paul. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies, and we start with... It's Mary.
If I have learned one thing from my many years in business, it is this. Never trust a man in a floral shirt.
Right. Lee.
What is it about men with floral shirts?
Well, they're trying to make a statement.
What is that statement?
The wrong one. Trying to say, look at me, listen to me, I'm powerful, I'm sexy.
With flowers?
I'm in touch with my feminine side.
Is it in business only?
Yes. Well, because I've worked in the fashion business a lot.
All right, is it your day off?
And...
started it.
I wasn't talking about you, Lee. I would never do anything like that. I really wasn't
You said a
talking
man
about...
in Florida...
In business.
In business.
You don't do business, do you?
I do business.
Pitch something to Mary and see how she
OK, yeah.
reacts.
All right,
Lots of
hello.
money.
After a toaster.
So invest in my company.
Will you invest in my company? I haven't sold many toasters recently. I think it's my attitude. Is your bread not hot enough? What are you trying to say?
You just make it look like you'll get your money back 20% on every pound you...
Do you want to buy my toaster? If you sell my toasters in your shop,
Yeah,
I'll let you...
A pyramid scheme, yeah,
What?
good. A pyramid scheme, that's good.
If you were to get loads of them, you could put them in the shape of a pyramid and we could... Maybe the Egyptians would buy them.
When you say, if I have learnt one thing in business, are you implying that you've only learnt one thing in business?
No. I've learned quite a few things.
OK, so
if you've learnt two things in business, what's number two?
Never work with comedians.
Right. What do you think? Is she telling the truth, Lee?
Well, it could be true, I suppose. What do you think?
I don't think it's true, because I don't think Mary judges people like that.
I've got nothing against his show. He's a comedian.
Yes.
I get that. This is men in business.
I mean, show business.
So there is a difference.
No, there isn't. There's no other business like show business. And there's a song about that I heard once.
So, do you think Mary is telling the truth? Truth or lie?
So we're saying...
I think it's a lie.
Lie. It's a lie.
You're going to say it's a lie. Mary,
better up,
truth or lie?
Oh, it is indeed a lie.
Oh. Yes, it's a lie. Mary doesn't distrust men in floral shirts. Oh, and that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. And I can reveal that Lee's team has won by 3 points to 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show where dishonesty is sometimes the best policy. On David Mitchell's team tonight, an actress with 3 BAFTAs, 3 Independent Film Awards and a Golden Globe. The only thing bigger than her talent is her mantelpiece. It's Olivia Colman. And a singer-songwriter who recently became a father, which explains why he was so keen to come out tonight. It's Aston Marigold. And over on Lee Mack's team tonight, a comedian with more hang-ups than a PPI call centre, it's John Richardson. And a TV presenter who loves rare animals. Personally, I prefer mine well done. It's Michaela Strachan. We begin with round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. And John is first up tonight.
After just one lesson, I had to give up learning the guitar because I found my teacher too good-looking.
David's team.
How old were you when you had these lessons?
30... something. I'd say it was 3 years ago.
It's well known you can't learn anything after the age of 27. That's it. Whatever you can do when you're 27, that's what you do. Forget anything else.
How is parenting going, David?
Was it a man or a woman, your teacher?
which is funnier. It was a man.
And were you attracted to him, or you just found him objectively so good-looking that you thought this is intimidating?
I am recently married. This is a threat to me. My wife booked me some lessons as a gift. He came to my house. I felt he was too good-looking to exist in my house, and I simply never phoned him about the second lesson.
Paint a picture for us of this man, maybe using Lee as a base point.
I mean, if you can picture almost the opposite.
There's no need to go that far, John.
He arrived on a bicycle. That upset me. Sweating. Guitar on his back. He was Spanish. That upset me. Very ahead of my time there, Brexit-wise. This was before the vote. In fact, I actually organised the vote as a way of getting him out of the country. Said something like, "Can I bring my bike into the house?" I mean, I was all a quiver.
Yeah.
I think I said, "You can bring whatever you like, Alberta."
But a visual, I want a visual picture. I mean, what
colour were his eyes?
Have you ever seen a sunset?
Was your wife clearly thrilled to see him?
She was upstairs, luckily.
And why the guitar? Are you into guitar, or did she just want you to play guitar?
I want to learn the guitar.
You don't need to learn an instrument to be in a band, do you, Aston?
You can sell, like, 10 million records without playing a guitar, so you'd be fine.
Boom! What do you think? Is he telling the truth?
Oh.
What do you think?
Well, I did think it was the truth, because the little I know of you, you seem like you could be worried enough to feel that.
What do you think?
I don't know. I'm not sold.
If you could move to true, that would really help me out.
For you, I'll move to true.
Oh,
Brilliant.
no, the pressure.
That means I don't have to think.
True.
Yeah.
Saying true. John,
come on.
Truth or lie?
It is true.
It's true. John did stop having guitar lessons because he found his teacher too good-looking. Olivia, you're next.
Possession.
Ah, right, OK. There's a box under the desk. Now, there's a card inside it. Could you read the card out first? Then, when you've read it, take the item and place it on top of the desk.
Whenever I need to cry in a scene, I ask the director to hold this up behind the camera. There's something about it that helps the tears to flow.
OK, and then take out the object and just pop it on the desk. Right, just see if you can position it there. Please, team.
What is that?
It's a cat.
It's a
But he
glove
looks a
puppet.
bit like he's been treated badly.
Well, he has been treated badly because someone's cut his back legs off.
I know.
And how long have you had this badly treated cat?
About 20 years.
So since you were about 7? Thank you. No, I was only joking.
Why? David will remember him from various scenes in Peep Show as well.
Oh, this is good. I've never seen this done before. Dragging a teammate into a
So he would sometimes hold the cat.
So maybe it wasn't the cat that made you cry. Maybe it was...
Never thought that through.
Yeah.
I wasn't on set for Broadchurch, so...
But the cat is called David, so maybe I've never made that connection before.
So is David Tennant holding that up in Broadchurch?
It's the director, normally, behind the camera.
Right.
But
And
why
if you
is...
look... I know,
Could I have David,
OK,
please?
just be nice
Not
to
you.
him.
Thank you. What if you two were to sort of improvise a dramatic scene? Right, you're telling David, he's playing your husband, ludicrous, that you've met another man and you're going to leave, but you're sad because you have 6 children, you're going to miss them, it's not going to be easy.
Ooh.
I, at a given point,
OK.
will pop it up, and when I pop it up, I want you to let the tears flow.
OK.
Whenever Rob pops it up, a woman cries.
I didn't hear that. I only assume it was very insulting.
It'd be something snide.
OK. Off you go.
OK.
Hello, darling.
Hello, darling. I'm afraid I'm running off with Alberto, the guitar teacher.
Alberto? What, even after I voted for Brexit?
I just couldn't help myself.
If only they'd trigger Article 50 more quickly, he'd be gone by now. I'm getting some political satire in.
Are
you all right, darling?
Yes. Sorry. I will try and keep it together. I'm really sorry. Oh. Sorry to do...
Is it possible to look at the cat to see if it looks 20 years old? Because I think
If you throw him to me, I'll throw him over to John.
No, I'm not throwing him.
Don't worry, he'll land on his feet.
To be gentle. Thank you, Aston. That's very kind.
Oh, did you see that?
That was a good catch.
Quite good, wasn't it?
Is that what you do on Spring Watch? You just pull the blue tits out of the sky. Let's have a look at this blue tit. And now an owl. He looks a bit manky. He looks
really
battered.
manky.
He looks battered.
But
Can you smell it?
Go on, have a sniff.
12 years old.
So what do you think? Truth or lie?
Michaela?
I think you're way too good an actress to need something like that.
So you say it's a lie?
I think it's definite.
It's... I think I would have read it in an interview.
Yeah. So you're saying it's a lie?
Yes.
OK, we'll say it's a lie.
You say it's a lie. Olivia, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It is, in fact, a lie.
Oh, thank goodness.
Yes, it's a lie. Olivia doesn't ask the director to hold up a glove puppet to make her cry. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. This week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Justin. So, Aston, what is Justin to you?
This is Justin, and once I did a backflip in a supermarket and landed in his trolley.
Good luck with that one, Aston.
Olivia, how do you know Justin?
This is Justin. He is my neighbour, and he has had a parcel in my hall for the last 7 months. And he's here tonight because I want him to take it home.
And finally, David, what is your relationship with Justin?
This is Justin. He tried to recruit me to his underground ping-pong club after being wowed by my skills with the bat.
So, Lee's team, where to begin?
OK, so we know you can do the backflip, Aston. I've seen that in action, so that's true. However, there's a little bit of the story I'm doubting. OK. You flipped and you landed in his shopping trolley.
Yeah.
So the big question is, was that deliberate or was it an accident when you were shopping?
An utter accident.
Oh, come on!
I promise you.
Where was this?
In, where was we, Asda?
And whereabouts in the country was this?
Peterborough.
In Peterborough?
My hometown, yeah. So I was with
You're
my
from
mum. It was
Peterborough?
literally like not long after myself and the boys did the X Factor, and it was just that kind of crazy time when it's a bit like, OK, everyone's...
That kind of crazy time where you think, I'll carry on shopping in Asda in Peterborough.
Why would you be doing backflips just casually in a supermarket? I mean, that's the bizarre bit, isn't it?
Basically, some guy and his daughter just, oh, would you do it? Would you do it? Oh, she's a big fan. And I was just like, I mean, I'm in a supermarket.
Were you on your own?
Oh, no, it was with my mum.
To my knowledge, there are 2 parts of a backflip. The second part is doing the backflip. The first part is having a quick look behind you to check there isn't a trolley or something like that there.
Exactly. So that's not part of the backflip, is it? You can't say there's 2 parts of a backflip. The second part is doing the backflip. You could say that about anything. There's 2 parts of writing a symphony. The second part is writing a symphony. The first part is the day before you write a symphony.
hard to believe that an experienced backflipper wouldn't at some point have learnt to just have a quick...
It's actually on YouTube.
It's on YouTube?
You can check it.
I can check it? Yeah. Well, then stay there. this is one of the easiest rounds we've ever had. I'm just checking it now, Aston.
We'll use that for proof later. It would slightly be not in the spirit of the game, Lee, to...
And also, it's not going to work on my hand, is it? That's not gonna... You see? Better actor than you thought, Rob.
When you do a backflip, you know, you don't normally fly in the air afterwards and land higher up. You just kind of land on the same plane.
If you were deliberately trying to backflip into a trolley, I would say that could be done.
But not by accident, because that could... Oh, my goodness, it could have...
But then again, he's only a little fella, isn't he? He's only little. I bet he flipped and he landed right in that little baby seat. And then off he went and started his life with a new family. Are you claiming that you landed on your feet?
Yeah.
You landed on your feet in the trolley?
And you stayed stood up?
Of course.
Was this man pushing it at the time?
No, it was there.
Did he think
just
you were a
behind
free
me.
gift with the cornflakes? Did you land facing him or facing away?
I'll tell you what, I'll show you.
No, don't do it,
I'm going to do it, just to prove you, right? Listen.
Aston, darling, don't do anything dangerous. Aston, be careful.
Let's just slow, because I'm going to show you, and just
I
how
wish
high
I
as
brought
well.
it up, I'm so sorry.
It's fine. You be
Please
here.
don't do it. No! Oh!
Yeah, exactly. So I'll be here.
Oh! Oh, so you did! Right. I'm sorry, I take back everything I've said. However, you're still lying.
Well, what about Olivia?
OK.
Oh, I've forgotten what she said.
Olivia's got a package in her hallway that she's had for 7 months that he should have collected from her, and I'm quite annoyed by that already. When you say neighbour, you mean actual neighbour or
Not
communal...
my immediate neighbour on either side, but he's 3 down the road.
OK, and so he wasn't in and the package came to you with a little card or whatever posted to him to say where it was. Have you still got it?
Yeah. Oh, well, it's here in my dressing room.
Why has it been 7 months?
I don't know. I know he's a wildlife photographer, so he probably travels a lot. And when I've taken it to him, he hasn't been there, so I've left a note. It's still here. And then he's missed me and left a note going, I came, but it wasn't there.
And in the whole 7 months, has he ever left a note to say, sorry, tried to catch...
Oh, yes, 3.
What did the note say?
Sorry.
That was it?
Sorry about the package. I did try, but you weren't in.
The question is this. What is in that package?
I haven't opened it, but it's an irritating shape because you can't get the pushchair through the door hole. You have to fold down the pushchair to get past it.
What?
So it's long and thin, and I think it might be, I don't know, a blind or a, you know, curtain rail.
What's the girth? Is it like that sort of girth?
There's a lot of packaging around it.
So he can't get through his letterbox. You haven't
Oh, no. So you have to... That's the whole point. Well, that's been so irritating. We have to ring the doorbell. He's not there.
OK.
And she said it's really irritating. She sort of looked at him apologetically as if to say, I didn't mean to call you here on telly to say you're an irritating neighbour.
But she is a professional actress.
I know.
So, I mean, she could just be lying.
That's very good, though.
So you've brought it in tonight? You've brought it in?
That's... I thought this would be an extreme...
Is this the only reason you've come on the show? Just to give back a parcel?
What about David and the table tennis?
Oh, we're actually going through with all that, are we?
David, remind us of your supposition.
He tried to recruit me for his underground ping-pong club because he was impressed by my skills with the bat.
Can I just check, when you say underground, do you mean underground literally, it's underground, or do you mean it's a bit devious?
I don't think there was any illegality, but it was, to a certain extent, subterranean. It was in a sort of basement.
In his basement?
No, in the basement of an advertising agency.
Are you good at table tennis?
I'm a bit good at table tennis. Not very good, but
I
I'm
want to get
better
to the
than you'd expect me to be.
And how did this man see you play table tennis?
Well, I played it there at the basement.
How do you know him?
He's a friend. I know him in my life. He works in the media.
To be absolutely clear what you're saying, apart from me and Rob, you have another friend.
You said, David, in your statement, he was wowed by your table tennis.
Yeah.
I've seen you play table tennis, but I don't picture you as being particularly adept at any sport. You don't mind me saying that?
Don't I? OK. Good to know, because I was wondering what I was experiencing. But
Talk me through your serve.
Well, I sort of go...
That's a bog standard. You don't do...
No. No, because I like to keep my tongue in my mouth.
Right, ready? Ready?
OK.
I played it to your forehand, you idiot.
Well, I couldn't see the ball's invisible.
Because you're not an actor of sufficient imagination, are you?
If you were a better actor, Rob, you'd know which side that you served. Do you want me to serve to you, David?
What, don't stop playing with him? No.
It's all right, we can get it over.
No. Stop it. Give me your bat. So there you were, playing table tennis in this underground car park, and what you did wowed him enough to say, please join our team.
No, well, firstly, he'd invited me to see the club. Yeah. So I hadn't just turned up and he saw me across a crowded underground ping pong.
I'm not suggesting romance was involved.
Seeing people across a crowded area doesn't mean there's romance involved.
Typically, the expression, I saw him or her cross a crowded room infers romance.
It implies.
Well, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Justin Aston's shocked shopper, Olivia's neglectful neighbour, or is he David's ping-pong pal?
I think anyone that's prepared to stand there that long while all this is going on is a wildlife photographer.
Or one of the others, and he's been told to stand there for that long.
If what you're saying there is true, Michaela, then we've had a wildlife photographer on every single episode.
Do you know what he doesn't look like? A man who shops at Asda. He has got Waitrose written all over his face, hasn't he?
I think Olivia's story is very believable.
The apologetic look when she described him as an irritant is either the greatest piece of acting of my generation or a typically British response of, I've got my neighbour on telly and told the whole country how annoying he is.
I'm torn, but I'll go with Olivia, then.
You think it's Olivia? Right. Justin, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Justin, and I tried to recruit David for my underground ping-pong club.
Yes, Justin is David's ping-pong pal. Thank you very much, Justin. Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies, and we start with... It's Aston.
A bodyguard once rushed me to safety after a fan went to extreme lengths to get into my hotel room.
Oh, this is ringing bells with you, Lee. Off you go.
What was the extreme lengths this fan went to?
Basically, we unloaded our suitcases off the tour bus and she had got herself into a suitcase and planted it.
Was she called Mrs. Houdini? What are you talking about?
Obviously, someone must have put her there.
Was it zipped up?
I think so.
So I'm picturing it more like Scooby-Doo, like a potato sack tied with rope, and it's sort of moving. They're saying, whose bag's this? And she's like, no one, just take it to Aston's room.
Was it a woman or a man?
Oh, no, we were told it was a girl.
So you never saw this girl?
Might you have packed her in the previous hotel? You know, it's a bit of a crazy night and you're packing your stuff, and the next thing you know, she turns up at the next Premier Inn.
Yeah, no.
Did you get any description of this girl?
She was all right, apparently, but that was...
What are you thinking, Michaela?
I'm thinking It's probably true. I mean, fans do crazy things, don't they?
Ah, it's hard, isn't it? I think it might be true.
I think it might be a lie, but I'm going to go
Well,
with
I'm going to change my mind and go with you then.
No, we can't do that. If you say true and you say true and I go, well, I think it's a lie, but we'll go true, I'm covered both ways, aren't I? But this way now...
You're on this every week. You don't get Greg Wallace tasting a meal and going, I don't know, what do you think of it?
In that case, we're going to say it's a lie.
You say it's a lie. Aston, was it the truth or was it a lie?
It's true.
Next, it's Lee.
I once refused to help a hang glider who had become tangled in a tree because 2 hours earlier he had been rude to me in a car park.
David C.
I love it. How high up in the tree was he?
He was about 2/3 of the way up of the tree. You probably want to know the height of the tree, don't you?
Yes, please.
The height of the tree was about how high he was plus 1/3.
So he wasn't 2/3 of the way up the tree, he was 3/4?
He was...
If he was 2/3 of the way up the tree, then the height of the tree was how high he was plus 1/2.
That is a fair point, isn't it?
He's made you look an idiot.
Yeah.
Where was the car park?
The car park was just near a cliff.
Right, yeah.
What was the altercation that you had with him?
He took the last space that I considered my space. Because I got to the space in the car park, and I did that thing where I was waiting with my hazard lights on.
Yeah.
He came around the corner, and just as the person pulled up, he pulled straight into the space. I got out the car, I would say menacingly. I approached his car. He got out the car, bigger. And I said, forget it then, you know. That's your attitude.
So did he get his equipment out then?
No. He'd already belittled me enough.
Where was this tree? What were you doing when you came across this tree with him in it?
I was just going for a stroll with my wife.
And you heard a noise. Did you hear him or see him first?
I heard him first.
You heard him. What was the sound that you heard? You're talking to your
can you imagine
wife.
a kite hitting a tree, times that by 50, and then add a human? That is what it sounded like. Obviously, I took the smart-ass approach and I went, oi, think you'll find I was going to park there?
What did he say?
He went, help! Can you... Oh, help! And I couldn't see him at first because it was just a sort of mess of tree and hang glider and...
What sort of tree was it, Lee?
It was a big one.
No, trees have names, don't they?
Brian,
was it an
the big
oak
tree.
or a birch or an ash? The species of tree.
I'm going to go for oak.
But was it an oak?
No. Look, I'm walking along with my wife. Ba 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 ba. Ah, crash! Pow! Wow! Is that an oak? That's not how conversations go, is it? You're going, there's a man in a tree fighting for his life.
A man in a tree shouting, help, help,
Help!
me,
I'm
help.
stuck in an oak, I think.
And what did you say to him as he shouted
That's not
help?
an oak! You're confusing me now. When I have to relay this on Would I Lie to You, I'll get all confused. And it's your fault. I don't know. I think it might be a sycamore. Can you just help me?
A sycamore?
Yeah, when he fell out, he went like that all the way down.
And what did your wife have to say about this?
My wife said, we must help him. And I said, I refuse. I absolutely refuse.
And she just went along with that?
Nope. She climbed that tree. Yeah. She climbed that tree.
With her bare hands?
No, she got human hands. She climbed that tree, and luckily she had some nail scissors, and she slowly started cutting at the many bits of tangled up bits around him until eventually she managed to help him get down.
The hang glider had strings like a parachute.
Sounds like a parachute, doesn't it?
I should point out, I'd walked away, and this is just the story that my wife recounted.
And then when did you next see your wife?
I still haven't seen her since.
So
He was a very good-looking Spanish guy, apparently.
All right. Super. Well, this is definitely true. Don't you believe this?
No.
A lie? Yeah. No, I think we think it's a lie because of... We think it's a lie because of what he said.
Lee, was it the truth or was it a lie?
Of course it was a lie.
Well, that noise signals time is up and it's the end of the show, and I can reveal that David's team has won by 4 points to 1. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show that separates the truth from the twaddle. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a TV presenter who used to work in a supermarket. We're delighted she's here tonight, as there's been a spillage in aisle 4. It's Scarlett Moffat. And one of the BBC's top weather presenters. And if you're looking for today's forecast, a nice outlook with some hot air to the west and damp patches in the east. It's Thomas Schaffenacker. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, a brilliant baker and grandmother to 3. I guess you could call her a nan bread. It's Prue Leith. And a grime artist who invited Ed Sheeran to become godfather to his daughter. An act which is as touching as it is financially shrewd. It's Big Nasty. We begin, of course, with round 1, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before. They've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Scarlett, we're starting with you.
I once kept a fish in Ribena.
Right. David's team.
A live fish in
A
Ribena.
live fish.
What fish was it?
Goldfish.
What did it die of? Diabetes?
Just old age, it was 4. It lasted ages.
So, was this Ribena, like neat Ribena?
So what happened is, in the olden days, when I was younger, you could win fish at the fair.
Why did you look at me when you said olden days?
So I was at the fair with my dad, won on the hook a duck, a fish, because that's what they used to give you. And then on the way home, as I am very clumsy, I dropped the fish on the floor, and the only thing that we had was a carton of Ribena. So my dad ripped it open, half of it with his teeth, popped the little fish in, took it home.
So how long was it in this Ribena?
About a good 15 minutes.
Or a traumatic 15 minutes.
I've seen your dad on Gogglebox.
Yeah?
He doesn't strike me as the kind of man that's ripping that Ribena off.
Whose team are you on?
I think he's just going to, like, squash it and buy a new one.
Oh, no, because we love animals and fish and that. You can't just kill a fish.
I mean, I have to say, you can just kill a fish, and there are many restaurants that trade pretty much exclusively on that premise.
No, I know, but to, like, kill it...
I mean, if you think
when
you're
it's
going to
helpless.
these places and they all died of natural causes, then... Sorry, we're not frying tonight. We're waiting for a cod pandemic.
That's funny, you know, man.
Oh, thank you very much. I knew it would come at some point.
I'm scared of fish.
You're scared of fish? Even goldfish?
I don't like no fish. I don't like the way they look at me. When I was little, a fish slapped me in the face and butchered the market. And it freaked me out.
I don't think the fish slapped you in the face, Nasty.
It slapped me in the face.
No, it was a person slapped you in the face with a fish.
No, the fish jumped up and it slapped me.
I I sit corrected.
I don't care that we're on TV. I don't care that we're on TV. I've got to tell the truth, yeah? I was with my mum and dad in Brixton Market. I was like, oh, fishes. Walked over there, they was all on the ice and that. So you go over there thinking, right, dead fish. Touched it and jumped up, slapped it. Yeah? Then Hussein bolted it. Yeah, mum had to put in a run. Seriously, stop.
I think this is the truth.
What are you thinking, Prue? Does it strike you as true?
I think Scarlett's a fantastic actress,
Isn't she?
isn't she?
Isn't
It's just a lie.
A lie.
Nasty, what
do you
about
think
you?
it's true or a lie?
Hold on, let me change it to Poirot. Well, monsieur, it seems too good to be true. Mademoiselle is lying.
You think it's a lie?
I think it's a lie, monsieur.
You think it's a lie? I will go with my team and say it's a lie.
I'm going to go with your team, say it's a lie.
Yeah.
No, no, Nasty, she presses the buttons. But I love your enthusiasm. So, Scarlett Moffat, a goldfish in a carton.
Yeah,
Truth or lie?
it was. True.
Yes, it's true. Scarlett did once keep a fish in Ribena. Thomas, you're next.
Until my mid-30s, I had no idea that lambs were in fact baby sheep.
David's team.
Until your mid-30s? How old are you now?
I'm in my late 30s.
When you're on television, you refer to it as the mid to high 30s. Why don't you do that with your age?
How did you learn?
I was in Cumbria, and we were filming for a weather show, and I had to do a piece about clouds, about red sky at night, shepherd's delight.
I've never understood the phrase. Why is it so specific to shepherds? Nobody, everyone likes the song, no one likes the rain.
Because the shepherds in particular, though, they spare a thought for the shepherds watching now. They're out in all weathers.
What about the hang gliders? Red sky at night, hang gliders delight. Red sky in the morning, hang gliders warning.
Hello, can you help me? Excuse me.
Big Nasty.
I'm black. I don't understand none of that stuff what you're talking about.
You've never heard Red Sky at Night, Shepherd's Delight?
No.
Red Sky in morning, Shepherd's Warning.
This is what's called middle-class rapping.
So you're in Cumbria. What are you doing there?
So we've been filming the whole day, and I've been walking amongst these animals. I mean, they were...
Hey, they're called northerners.
Because I was so focused on my lines, I wasn't really paying that much attention to what... I just saw there were lots of fluffy animals everywhere.
Yeah. And you thought, the clouds have fallen!
So we're sitting there, and the farmer and his wife are saying that they do a programme called Lambing Live. I said, why is it that it's called lambing? And there's this sort of silence there for a bit. And said, the camera crew were looking at me thinking, what are you talking about? I said, well, because why is it not sheeping? So sheep, sheep, and lamb, lamb. A sheep gives birth to a baby sheep, and a lamb gives birth to a...
So you thought a lamb was one woolly thing, and a sheep was another woolly thing?
So, as it were, like an orange and a satsuma.
For a hot sec, I was on the same kind of ideology as you know.
Did you express this confusion?
I did, and I wish I hadn't, actually, because of the looks I got.
Did you then say, what's that big yellow bright thing in the sky?
What is... because you're a scientist, aren't you? That's... a meteorologist is a type of scientist.
Yeah.
What did you... What A-levels did you do?
That's David's very polite way of saying you are thick.
The thing is that when you see a little lamb there and another sheep, the thing looks so different.
You think they look nothing like each other? You wait till I explain the life cycle of the frog. It will blow your mind. Have you ever seen an adult caterpillar?
Oh, yeah,
know that one. I forgot.
All right. What are you thinking, Prue?
Well, I think it's got to be a lie because I can't believe that a weatherman who is conscious of the seasons and knows what happens in the spring, I think you're making it up.
Do you think it's true?
Yeah, well, so it seems like I'm an idiot.
What's that supposed to mean?
What, man? We're going down together, Knacker, man. At least flip it up.
So, what's it going to be, David?
Well, I think he's a scientist. I think he'd know. I'm going to go with Prue. We're going to say it's a lie.
Thomas, truth or lie?
It is, in fact, true.
Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Zoe. So, Thomas, who is Zoe to you?
This is Zoe, and while handing her a prize at the UK Weather Awards, I was struck on the head by a Perspex lightning bolt.
Right, Thomas's weather woman. Scarlett, how do you know Zoe?
This is my old flatmate Zoe. We once discovered we'd been burgled when we arrived home dressed as burglars.
Scarlett's burgled burglar. And Lee, what's your relationship with Zoe?
This is Zoe. Together, we formed a search party and scoured a campsite by torchlight for a missing cuddly frog.
David's team, where will you begin?
Thomas, this was at what awards?
The UK Weather Awards.
And what are the UK Weather Awards given for? Best rainstorm?
Could be the best national weather presenter, regional weather presenter.
Any more? And what was Zoe winning for?
She's a regional weather presenter from Northern Ireland.
And she won Best Regional Weather Presenter?
Yes.
And were you hosting the awards, or
No.
you were just there to give that award out?
I was just handing the prize to her.
And what happened?
At one point, there was just a noise and something hit my head. I had no idea what it was, and it fell from above. It was a Perspex thunderbolt. It was part of the decorations, the symbols, hanging above the stage.
Part of the set?
Yes.
And this thunderbolt and lightning, was it very, very frightening? Did you do the fandango?
When it hit my head, I didn't obviously know it was a thunderbolt at the time until I saw it.
You didn't know what had hit you?
Exactly.
And then you saw what had hit you?
I was really surprised. Well, wouldn't you be?
Yes, I would be, yeah. I'd be surprised if it was true.
Who next, David?
Lee, what's the story here?
Zoe and I,
yeah,
we had to do a late-night cuddly frog search by torchlight.
Yeah. OK, so who did the cuddly frog belong to?
The cuddly frog belongs to Zoe's very young child.
How did you know Zoe?
Zoe was about 4 or 5 tents down from us. I didn't know Zoe at all.
Paint the picture for us, Lee. You're in the tent. Have you zipped up?
Oh, yeah, we're totally flat down.
Right. You and Mrs. Mack are cuddled together?
We are, you know, we're on our inflatable mattress.
Right. What?
Actually, no, Mrs. Mack is also inflatable, and... it was very much an inflatable. The kids, they're not real either.
And then a rat-a-tat-tat.
Yeah, you don't do it on a tent, it wouldn't work. A flap, a flap, flap.
And what happened?
I heard a sort of distressed...
signal,
whimper, as any way I could say. It's
a whimper. Now, who is this? This is Zoe, or is this still your wife?
This is not my wife. This is Zoe, who I don't know at this point is called Zoe.
No.
Zoe is outside the tent, sounding a bit distressed, and then I heard maybe 3 or 4 tents down the crying of a small child.
Oh.
Oh, where's my frog? He said, where's my frog? And I said, darling, we'll finish this in a moment. I must go out and see what's going on. So she put the Scrabble set away. So I stepped out of the tent and I said, are you OK? And she was a bit teary. She went, not really. My child's
I thought
called...
she had a Northern Ireland accent. Oh, no,
that's me.
They can't all be true. Do you know that means that you're now not telling the truth?
Yeah.
Think about the logic of that.
My advice to you, Scarlett, is to pretend that your former flatmate is also a Northern Irish weather presenter.
So, I go outside the tent and I see that Zoe is a bit distressed. I said, Madam, can I be of any assistance to you?
What did you have on your feet?
What did I have on my feet? I had skis. What do you mean?
Well, hear me out. You've sprung into action.
Yes.
In the tent.
All right, I had springs on my feet.
And I'm wondering, do you do your shoes and take a while? Or you sling on a pair of Crocs?
I had my slippers on, my lambskin slippers. And I went outside with my little slippers on, and I said, are you OK? And she went, no, my child's lost his toy, and he's getting very distressed, and he can't sleep without it. And I said, well, hey, you shouldn't be doing this on your own. I said, love, get out of the tent and have this one. But she was snoring at this point, so I got the torch, and we went searching for the frog.
Where did you find the frog?
Well, this is the interesting part of the story.
I hope so.
Hopefully. It was actually in there's a small shop on camp, and it was in the fridge of the shop, and the shop was dark, but the fridge was lit up because the fridge stays on, and it was sitting in the fridge. The child has put the toy apparently in the fridge to play a game, forgotten about it, left it, and it's just stayed there.
You could see it behind the glass-fronted
fridge. And the shop was locked because it was night time, so we had to leave it. We couldn't. I'm going to break in through the skylight. I thought, I can't do that, can I? I can't break in for a soft toy with a woman I've never met. With a couple of torches, and we both had balaclavas on. It would have looked good.
Nasty, are you taking notes?
No, I think you're doing a drawing, aren't you?
I'm not offensive. You're just boring the life out of me. I find myself, I'm not sure attention's man.
Now, Scarlett.
Yes?
Remind us how you know Zoe.
So, Zoe is my...
How you know Northern Ireland weatherwoman Zoe.
So, me and Zoe went to uni together, and we lived together, and we had been on a night out, got back, and discovered that we had been burgled whilst dressed as burglars.
Right, OK.
Why were you dressed as burglars?
So, when you do initiations, because we were in the hockey society together, we had to dress as burglars, because we were in the first year, and then the second and third years dressed as cops. So we went out and we had swag bags, masks, stripy jumper, and then came back and discovered we'd been burgled. So obviously when the police rocked up, they thought we were joking. And we were in hysterics. I was just stood there with my swag bag like, we've been burgled.
Did the police think you'd burgled it yourselves?
I just think they thought it was like a uni prank.
Right.
Are you sure they were police? Because you said it was a cops and robbers party.
They legit workers would rang them, yeah.
Right, OK.
And what was funny is my friend Sarah's mum came to pick me and Sarah up, and when she went in my bedroom, she started crying. She was like, oh, my God, look what they've done. And I was like, no, Wendy, this was just my room. My room was just a mess. They just took my laptop off my bed. It's fine.
Why would they smear that on the walls?
What? Is it? Nasty saying you don't look the same age.
Yeah, man, that's some Back to the Future Marty McFly business. If you was in the same uni, you must be a first grade, and she was at least a year above you. No offence, Zoe.
How old do you think I am?
All right, you look, realistically,
This is no time for realism.
Early 20s, late 20s?
No, I'm not. I'm not early 20s.
Late 20s?
I'm 28 this year.
So late 20s, then?
Yeah.
Yeah? You go,
Mid to high 20s.
Yeah? Mid to high 20s, yeah? Boom.
Oh, Nasty, please
Zoe,
be nice.
You look like me, baby girl. You could be in your 30s.
Can I ask you a question, Nasty? Have you ever met a woman?
But you gotta be honest. We're trying to save people's lives right now. Feelings if you want the truth. You can't handle the truth. It's true, though, isn't it? It's like me saying, raw, I was in school with my mum.
Yeah, but Zoe's younger than me. Zoe is legit younger than me.
No, because she was finding her kid's frog.
No, she wasn't.
just say, boom, move on. Prue, what do you think?
I believe half of Lee's story. Is that all right?
Well, that's a first.
Nasty?
Yeah, Tabernacle Man.
What? Well,
Tabernacle.
he definitely means you, Thomas.
What's the name of our Prime Minister again? What's that?
Theresa May.
Yeah, see,
I mean, although at time of broadcast it won't be.
Well, she had malfunctions on her set and things dropped down on
That's
the
a very good point.
Yes,
things
happen
exactly
on the weather all
what
the
he's
time.
talking about.
Yeah.
That's true, actually, yeah. This is like one of those buddy cop movies, isn't it? Where the two different cops have been paired together. I really don't think this is going to work, but we'll give it a go. But you get...
That's a very good impression of Big Nasty. Well, my team doesn't think it's Scarlett, so we're ruling out Scarlett, and then it has to be one of Lee or Thomas. Oh.
Knackerman.
All right. Go on.
You're going
we'll
with
go
Thomas.
with Thomas.
No. It's not you. Here we go. Zoe, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Zoe, and Scarlett and I discovered we've been burgled whilst Christmas burglars.
Yes, Zoe is Scarlett's burgled burglar. Thank you very much, Zoe. No way! Which brings us to our final round, quick-fire lies, and we start with... It's David.
Last year, at a village fete, I won a welly boot throwing competition and appeared in the local paper with the caption, "Fling the Merciless."
Lee's team.
Was this in your hometown?
No.
Well...
All right, OK.
Had you cut a ribbon? Had you opened the fete?
No, I wasn't there in an official capacity.
Because I'd be disappointed, and I don't mean this in a horrible way.
Yeah.
If you were the celebrity that was opening my fete. I'm sorry, but there it is.
No, yes, no, I know you would be disappointed because you'd want the gig yourself.
What was the weather like?
Here we go.
It was fine. It was fine as in fine, not fine as in fine.
Yeah. Okay. How far did you throw it?
I mean, a long way. I'm not an expert on distance, but it would have to be... I suppose it felt like it was about 2 miles.
OK, let me say that from me to you...
Yeah.
Right, I don't want to sound like the Chuckle Brothers, but from me to you is a unit of measurement.
OK.
The Chuckle Brothers being referenced for ages.
Yeah, all right, I don't do the modern stuff.
Yeah. You have just proved that you don't watch this programme.
The distance between me and you is 1 unit of measurement.
OK.
How many Mitchell Max was it that you threw?
I think... Well, it was a good throw. I'd say 3. 3 to 3.5 Mitchell Max.
Go on, Mikey. Knuckle in. That's powerful.
Oh, thank you very much.
Thomas, what are you thinking?
I think it's a lie. I'm not quite sure why I think it's a lie. I just think he's lying.
You probably think of Wellington's a grown-up sandal.
So, Lee, are you going to go with your team?
We're both saying it's a lie, are you?
Yeah.
Well, we have to go with
You
the
have
team.
to go with them. They're saying it's a lie. David, truth or lie?
Well, it is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. David didn't win a welly boot throwing competition. Next.
Flagged it well, though.
It's Nasty. It's time to wake up.
It says possession, but I was young.
There's a little box under your desk. If you take the item out of the box and put it on the desk, OK, pop it on the desk first, and then read out the card.
This is an ukabong. Me and my cousins would each make an ukabong to play the Nasty family game, ukabong.
There we are. Lee's team.
So you're saying it's called an ukabong?
Ukabong. Ukabong.
How do you spell it, Nasty? Just spell it for Lee, because he's a bit slow.
U-K...
Yeah?
A...
Yeah?
And then bong.
Bong.
So Lee.
And then bong. Bong.
How do you make it? What's it made of?
It's a sock.
Made out of socks.
What's inside the sock?
More socks.
More socks.
Is it just lots of socks?
So, boom, basically, it's a family game, and everyone has their own ukabong.
Do you hit each other?
Yeah. It's your own tool.
So you whack people with that? With the ukabong?
Yeah, with your own ukabong, but there's stipulations to it. You got to all be in a room, and you got to turn off the lights. Yeah? And the hit only counts, yeah, is if you hit someone and you say ukabong. If you hit someone, yeah, and you don't say ukabong, the whole room rushes you. And then my grandma says the first one who cries gets beaten. We be in my grandma's, yeah, up top room. Boom, there's like 15 cousins and my Uncle Simon, yeah? Boom. My Uncle Simon's a cool cat. He was a cool cat.
Yeah.
Yeah? So, boom now. Everyone's got their ukabong.
David is very nervous.
Yeah. I haven't even got my own ukabong. I'm defenceless.
Hang on a minute. No, I've got one here. There you go.
Yeah.
Thank you very much.
So, boom now, yeah? We're in the room now. It's me. It's all dark and that. Swinging at everyone. Ukabong, ukabong. So then, boom, if I hit you, ukabong.
Yeah.
Obviously, it probably hurts. You go, ah. But then now, my Uncle Simon, yeah? We thought he had the special ukabong.
Oh, this is taking a sinister turn.
Man thought his ukabong was sent from God. Do you know what Uncle used to do? He used to put a tennis ball in his ukabong.
Do you know what? I thought it was going to be worse than that.
So, he would come with, like, Zeus's ukabong. One shot, KO! Everyone's out. Starts crying. Grandma comes in. Everyone gets their ass passed. We have to read Bible.
If it's dark, how does everyone know that you've successfully ukabonged somebody? You could be
Because
lying.
you'll hear someone say ow, won't you?
Yeah, the owl. No, you're
So you
definitely
need
going to
an
hear an
owl.
owl. And when Uncle Simon ones goes off, it's more of a...
What do you think, Scarlett?
I want to do it.
Yeah.
I really want to play it now. I think it's true.
Scarlett.
Yeah, can I? Yes!
Hang on.
Yes! Ukabong!
This is fun.
Hey, guys, I've got a great idea. Let's all ukabong rub.
There we are. That's what we pay our licence fee for. What are you thinking then, Lee? Why don't you go for a guess here?
What do you think?
I think it's 100% true.
You do? Why?
Yeah. Because it's just fun, isn't it? I can imagine you doing that. We
Is
did
that fun? Oh, sorry, ukabong.
Okay. Oh, yeah, then we all have to attack him.
That's just domestic violence without ukabong, bro.
Thomas.
I'm with the other two. I think it's absolutely
All
true.
think it's true. OK. Nasty. Truth or lie?
Truth!
Yes, it's true. Nasty's family did play a game called Ukab. That noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. And I can reveal that David's team have no points. Lee's team have 5. Thank you very much for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with tall tales and tantalising truths. On Lee Mack's team tonight, a former Spice Girl. Ironically, when I asked if I could still call her baby, the response was scary. It's Emma Bunton. And a comedian who is also a BAFTA-winning actress. Winning an award must have done wonders for her career, but not enough to escape this show. It's Jo Brand. And on David Mitchell's team tonight, one of the most famous Shauns in show business, second only to the sheep. It's Shaun Williamson. And a Paralympic gold medalist who once made the 12-person shortlist for Sports Personality of the Year. What an achievement! Finding 12 sportsmen with a personality is Johnny Peacock. We begin tonight with round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. Now, to make things harder, they've never seen the card before, they have no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Jo, you're first up tonight.
Okey-dokey. At school, I once rubbed stinging nettles all over my face and told my teacher I was ill so I could go and meet a boy in a graveyard.
David's team.
True. So this was a date in the graveyard. Was the boy living?
He was just before we met, yeah.
And these, Jo, you say these are your school days, so we're talking about the 1990s. Now, what was the...
Yeah.
It's my way of being flattering
Rob.
and gentle and chivalrous, you say. Chivalrous. When was this, Jo?
The 1890s.
That would have been the late 60s, actually, early
Late
70s.
60s?
Yeah.
Gosh, OK. So when you walked into the graveyard like this, he must have been shocked to see you.
Rob, he was pleased to see me. He knew what he was going to get.
Whoa. What was he going to get?
I bought him a cake.
So freshly nettled, you go off, you go and find your teacher. What happens then?
Well, I say to the teacher, I'm really not feeling well. I don't know whether I ate something for lunch that's given me some sort of allergic reaction. Can I go home?
I mean, I don't know. I've never run a school. But are you allowed, if a child says they're ill, you're allowed to just say, yeah, off you go?
Well, I said to her that my mum was at home and I live within walking distance of the school.
It was the late 60s, early 70s. Very different time. Children hadn't long stopped going up chimneys. So what do you think?
Oh, I
Johnny?
think it's so unfeasible, it's probably true, isn't it?
Well, that's the wrong way to reason. It should be unfeasible things are less likely to be true.
Yeah, but...
Although the true things are deliberately picked to be unlikely.
Exactly.
I travel here by car, for example, never come up. That would be easy.
Sorry, can I just check something here?
Yeah.
Why do you get a car?
Yeah, it's a class thing, you know.
But they still shouldn't make me drive your car.
Right, Jo, in the graveyard with
What
the
do you
young
think?
man.
It's
True.
Because it sounds so unlikely.
Yeah.
I still think it's flawed reasoning, but we'll go true.
You're saying that it's true.
Yeah.
Right, Jo. Truth or lie?
It is a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Jo didn't rub stinging nettles over her face to get out of school. Shaun, you're next.
Thank you very much. I once stole the shirt off a scarecrow in order to get into a nightclub.
Lee's team.
Wow. OK. Was you not wearing anything before you went to the nightclub?
Me?
Yeah.
T-shirt, you see.
OK.
Oh, and they wouldn't let you in?
Yeah, but well, it is, you know, it's all a bit more relaxed these days because the dress code isn't what it was. Back in the day.
What was the day? What year?
Back in the day, or when this happened?
Well...
It was early 2000s.
So early 2000s, you've gone to a nightclub. Where was this nightclub?
In Rochester.
Rochester is a town, right? And that's why it's got a nightclub in it. And scarecrows don't really tend to be used in towns
What
because
a
they're
very
out in
good
massive
point.
fields.
Thank you, Miss Martin.
When did you find out you needed a shirt to get in the club? Did you go to the club?
When
and
the
then
bouncer said, you ain't coming in.
Right, and then you walked back to the Scarecrow to get the shirt?
I walked back to the allotment.
This is very high-level play.
This is like chess, isn't it, between Sean and Joe?
Take that, Moriarty.
Do you live in Rochester?
No.
So how did you know there was an allotment in Rochester near the nightclub?
I lived near it then.
Oh, I see.
It's like fencing, isn't it?
But then again, if you lived in Rochester, why didn't you just go home and get a shirt?
Oh, this gets better and better. Checkmate.
No. I was born in Chatham, but brought up in Maidstone. But my uncle lived in Rochester, and it was one of the allotments on his patch, so I knew where the allotments were. Apropos to the nightclub.
Miss Brown, back to you.
Can I ask, earlier you said you had a T-shirt and trainers and jeans on.
Yes.
And you thought it was a relaxed club, but then you went to the club and they said you need a shirt, but you're not allowed in a club with trainers on.
OK. The bouncer was a
Can
big...
I just say, Sean, you're the kind of person that every time you speak, you always sound like you're going to start it with, I'd like to change my story.
But is that the impression I'm just giving you?
For the sake of the tape, the accused has walked into the room.
The bouncer was a massive fan of EastEnders and was quite embarrassed at turning me away. So I think when he saw the effort I'd made, because I was already 8 pints to the wind, so when he saw the effort I'd made, I think he just couldn't bear turning me away again.
OK. What do you think, Joe? Could this be true?
I think he'd have had a better time if he'd popped down the graveyard. I think there's a lot of anomalies in it.
This is what I think. A man who knows exactly where an allotment is because he knows the town so well knows you can't get into the nightclub without collars. And for that reason, Sean, we find you guilty.
So what are you saying, Lee? You think it's a lie, don't
Lie.
You think it's a lie?
You think it's a lie? You all think it's a lie?
We all think it's a lie.
Sean, truth or lie?
It is a lie.
It's a lie. Sean didn't steal a shirt from a scarecrow. Emma, you're next.
I'm next, OK. OK, when the Spice Girls stayed in hotels, we played a special game to test who was the bravest.
What was the game?
We used to dare each other to do certain things.
What was the scariest thing you were ever dared to do?
Sing live?
Rob, you've got to watch that, because a lot of people think you're nice.
That's why you get the boat advert and me and him don't, because you're the nicest
Nice one.
Yeah.
But it's all a
Not
facade, because
anymore.
me and David know,
Not
actually,
anymore.
you are evil.
Yeah.
And now...
Welcome aboard. So, Emma, what sort of things did you do?
So the main one was, and it involved nudity.
Right.
So we used to stay in hotels a lot, obviously, while we were touring.
Yeah.
And we used to dare each other to go, like, run in the hallways, and we had to do that naked.
Naked?
Yeah. We were allowed sometimes to carry a
Clothes.
flannel.
A flannel?
Yeah.
What were you worried was going to happen? You could cover. You had to choose a part, obviously, to cover.
Victoria could use that as a dressing gown.
So if someone saw you, you could decide which part of you were known by and cover that up.
actually a go in your face.
Yeah.
So
That's probably the best way, isn't it?
I remember once the girls made me go to the lift
Yeah.
and wait for the lift to arrive.
No.
And then, obviously, you were lucky if it opened and no one was there.
Oh, no. I suddenly felt like...
You're really getting into this story.
I suddenly felt I'd been challenged to do it myself. Joe, you've toured the country, haven't you, with your show? You've stayed in hotels.
Never found a flannel big enough, Rob.
I think it's the logistics of the game that interest me, typically. I want to understand better how the competition worked.
We'd take 2 at a time, and then the
Yeah.
first one back, knocking on the door, that would be the winner.
It's a knockout. 2 become 1. It's simple.
Johnny, what do you think? True?
I think it does sound like it all adds up so far.
Sean, what are you thinking
I've
here?
been consistently wrong tonight, unerringly wrong.
Well, in which case, if you maintain your current strategy, we can use that to win. What do you think, instinctively?
Lie.
Lie. Right, it's true, then. Right.
True, yeah. So, Emma, truth or lie?
Okay. It is true.
Yes, it's true. The Spice Girls really did run round hotels wearing nothing but a flannel. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of David's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest. It's up to Lee's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Shabs. So, Sean, what is Shabs to you?
This is Shabs. I keep my chicken drumsticks in his nuclear bunker.
Right, so, Sean's bunker buddy. Johnny, how do you know Shabs?
This is Shabs, and he used to regularly park cars on my foot to stop me going anywhere.
Johnny's parking prankster. And finally, David, what is your relationship with Shabs?
This is Shabs, and he's taught his parrot to say, "Nice shoes, Dave," whenever I enter his cobblers.
Lee's team, where will you begin?
Oh,
Should we start with Sean? Let's start with Sean,
yes.
I think, yeah? You leave your chicken drumsticks in his nuclear shelter. Is that what you're claiming?
Yes.
OK, enough questions. Johnny. Where is this nuclear shelter?
In a field out the back of his garden.
Which part of the country?
Mid-Kent.
I don't think anyone's ever referred to whatever area he's talking about as Mid-Kent. I mean, people say, where are you from? Oh, I'm mid-British. You're not mid-Kent.
Well, it's down from the Midlands. That's the middle of Britain, isn't it? But anyway... Sean, has he got a freezer in his nuclear bunker?
A very large chest freezer.
How many chicken drumsticks have you got in it?
Oh, there's probably in there, I'd say it's a pack of 10... Because it's not just drumsticks, you see.
Oh, you're not running a catering firm on the side?
No, I have meat mass-delivered, and sometimes I need an overflow. Well, from a, you know, a regular delivery from a butcher's.
Right. Why are you buying so much meat?
Because what's happened, particularly this year, I've been working away a lot, so I haven't been going through the amount of meat I normally go through. So at the moment, there's just a bit of an overflow.
Well, why didn't you stop the order?
How do you know Shabs?
I know Shabs from my local pub cricket team.
What fielding position?
Well, yeah, slip and number 4 batsman.
Right. And what does he do?
All-rounder. Excellent.
All right, sorry. He does everything. He bats, he bowls, he freezes your meat.
Sean, I've never been into a nuclear bunker. What's it like?
OK, so basically, when you approach it, you'll see something that might look like a sort of white, woodeny, one of those slatted beehives, the square beehives.
A slatted beehive,
yeah,
yes.
but what that is, that's I think, is the air conditioning you know, purifying system. And then there's almost like a hatch, like a submarine hatch.
Yes.
So you climb down a ladder, a metal ladder.
Sorry, can I just check? Have you been watching the Teletubbies recently?
And then you get down the bottom of the ladder. Is there a living area, a bedroom?
Yes, there's a living area. He has got a television and a cracking stack.
Oh, yeah, because well, after the nuclear war, you're going to get a lot of telly, aren't you? I bet EastEnders survives.
The cockroach of TV shows.
You said it.
I can't go back. Can't go back. But he's got a cracking selection of videos.
Oh, I bet he has.
Video player. And now the truth comes out.
Yeah.
I'm just going to see Shaps to get some chicken drumsticks, love. Shall be long.
Right, Lee, who would you like to quiz next?
OK, Johnny, so just remind us again what this fella did to you.
He used to park cars on my foot so I couldn't move.
You couldn't move?
On your prosthetic foot?
Obviously on the prosthetic one.
He's a friend of yours that did this, or is he...
I used to work in a garage, and Shabs worked in the garage.
Where was this, Mid-Kent?
In St Ives.
St Ives?
St Ives?
Not Cornwall St Ives, Cambridgeshire St Ives.
I mean, how did he do it? Because surely you sort of saw the car coming and you moved away.
He'd try and stop on the foot, but sometimes he'd miss. But if he got it, he'd pull the handbrake and get out of the car and walk off.
I want to know, how did it start the first time?
I was working there and Shabs joined, and one of the other guys told me it'd be quite funny because he didn't know that I had a prosthetic leg, to get my foot trapped under a wheel.
To try and spook him?
Yes, but it didn't.
It awoke a sort of bloodlust in him, didn't it?
So the start of this story was that
it was all
I thought that he was perhaps bullying you a bit, and it turns out it's the other way round completely.
The person you tried to bully at work turned out to be a sociopath.
Right, what about David?
Why does he keep a parrot in the Gobblers?
As a pet.
As a
Does
pet?
Yeah, it's not a colleague.
Did you go to the cobblers a lot then? Because for him to go through all the effort of teaching a parrot to say, nice shoes, Dave, I mean, I've probably been to a cobbler's like twice in the last 5 years. So do your shoes kind of wear out really quickly, or...?
Well, I suppose I probably do go to the cobblers quite a lot.
OK, then that's fine.
And what sort of voice does the parrot have? Could you give us a taste of the parrot?
I'm so sorry.
A flavour.
You want me to do an impression?
Not so much an impression, more an evocation.
I suppose it would be sort of... I don't know what it's going to sound like until it comes out, so I'll be...
I'm pretty sure it's going to be quite
I'm just
bad.
going to say, yeah, I'm listening to it at the same time as you, so...
Welcome to my world.
Nice shoes, Dave.
That was the most horrible thing you've ever done.
Nothing like a parrot.
You've done some horrible things, but that was horrible.
Well, look, it's a parrot. You know,
It doesn't sound like a parrot. Are you sure it's not just a rather exotic man that works with Shabs?
Obviously, what you've got to understand is what you heard there wasn't the parrot. That was me.
It was you trying
You're
to
saying that parrot sounds like a man pretending to be a parrot. I'm not
But
sure
it
that's
didn't even
conclusive.
sound like that, did it? Any parrot worth his salt would say, nice shoes, Dave.
Listen, Rob. You're in the chair. If you want to do a parrot impression at any point, you can just do it. We don't have to go round this ridiculous process.
What's the name of Shabs's parrot?
Graham.
It sounds sounding more and more like it is a man. It's a man stood in the corner of the shop. This parrot, is he 6 foot?
No.
Does he smoke a cigarette and go, all right, Dave, nice shoes?
All right, we need an answer. So, Lee's team, is Shabs Sean's bunker buddy, Johnny's parking prankster, or David's parrot pal?
I thought Sean told a great story. I love the fact that he's putting his drumsticks in his bunker.
Do you think that's perfectly acceptable?
That sounds like a euphemism, doesn't it?
You believe her?
Here's a question. Does Shabs look like the type of person who would have a nuclear bunker?
Definitely.
I think that Shabs looks like he could work in a garage.
What about David?
The bit I doubt is the fact that you're going to the cobblers so regularly, because that would be the actions of a man who cares what he looks like.
What shoes have you got on tonight?
Do you want me to show you my
Yes,
shoes?
please.
Yes, please.
Should we have a look and see if they're worn?
Oh, nice shoes, Dave.
And they have...
It's easily done, isn't it?
And, yeah, these have never been to the cobblers.
You seem to be spending a lot of effort on the shoes and less effort to iron your trousers. That may be a lesson to you, young man.
I didn't realise my offer to show you my shoes was going to lead to mockery.
You must have had
David, you must have suspected it.
Yes.
So you're saying Johnny? Emma?
Yes.
You're saying Johnny?
Reluctantly, I am.
OK. Right. Shabs, would you please reveal your true identity?
My name is Shabs, and I used to park cars on Johnny's for...
Yes, Shabs is Johnny's parking prankster. Thank you very much, Shabs. Which brings us to our final round, quickfire lives, and we start with... It's Lee.
Ooh, possession.
Now, take a look. There's a box under your desk. Place the item from the box on top of the desk first, and then read out the card. Thank you.
This is my lucky dice. I can always roll a 6 with it in 3 goes.
David.
Yeah!
Well, yeah, go on then.
Do you want to know how I came to discover this?
Yes, please.
Just found it in a box.
How long have you had it?
I've had it for about 20 years. Oh, the dice. I thought you meant my syphilis.
Where did you get it?
I got it from a woman in Highgate.
I meant the syphilis.
Sorry. I paid for it, $4.99.
We meant the dice.
Full of spots.
When did you first discover that you had that these dice or die were indeed lucky?
I was walking the back streets of Hong Kong.
Yes.
I'm down this dark alley.
Right.
There's a weird shop staying open late. I go in, a small bell rings, and a small Chinese man was there. Hang on, this is Gremlins, forget this. I got it from Hamleys.
Give us some examples of when you've used this lucky dice.
Well, I've used it. It helped me get together with my first girlfriend.
Oh, do tell.
Yeah, that was her name. It wasn't a real name. It was Janet.
Janet. It helped you get together with Janet.
It helped me get together with Janet, my first girlfriend, because she was a big fan of magic.
Right.
And I said, oh, I can do a magic trick. And she said, what's that? I said, see this dice? I can guarantee, at any point I can roll it 3 times, and I will always get a 6.
And how many times did you do it before Janet said, I love you?
She never expressed her love for me. But after I rolled it once, we slept together.
Well, maybe we should put this lucky dice to the test. Now, to get a proper view, why don't you could come out and use this bit of stage here. You'd be like one of those New York crap shooters from Guys and Dolls.
I mean, when would you like me to get it? Straight away, or would that just ruin it? I think a bit of tension for the last roll.
Bit of tension, yeah.
Yeah.
Let's
It's
make it
never
number
gone
3.
wrong in 20 years. I swallowed it. There's the first one. What is it, madam? 5. Oh, sorry, sir. Sorry. Awkward. It's Janet!
So, there's no worries. You've got 2 left.
OK. Here we go. I mean, be honest, it's pretty gripping, isn't it? It's actually pretty gripping stuff, isn't it?
Well, people watched Deal or No Deal, didn't they?
Attempt number 2. Here we go. It's 3. So you're sticking to your promise of waiting for the 3rd roll. Where are you going?
Have a little sit down. So, what do we think? Is it true or is it...
You have to follow through on your promises. Right, here we go.
Come on.
Here we go.
Let me say that I personally am convinced that Lee is telling a lie, but that nevertheless he will now roll a 6.
Here he goes. Lee Mack, 3rd roll. Got to be a 6. It's rolling.
What do you think?
So what numbers did I get? Can anyone remember?
5, 3 and 2.
So they don't add up to 6 either, do they?
What do you think?
Can I just check? Is this definitely the dice I brought in?
I've got an idea. We can make this work by just retake Lee reading the card and he says, "This is my dice, it occasionally rolls a 6."
So, what are you going to say then, Johnny?
Lie.
Lie. Lee, truth or lie?
It was a lie.
Yes, it's a lie. Lee doesn't have lucky dice. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show, and I can reveal that Lee's team has won by 3 points to 2. Thanks for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night. Welcome to Would I Lie to You, the show with unvarnished truths and highly polished lies. On David Mitchell's team tonight, a man whose list of TV credits is almost as long as his inside leg measurement. It's Richard Osman. And an actress who once had a job peeling potatoes in a chip shop in Bolton. But she had a dream, and one day it came true. They let her batter the fish. It's Diane Morgan. And on Lee Mack's team tonight, the star of This Country, who once worked as a barmaid in a pub, which explains why I haven't been able to get her attention all evening. It's Daisy May Cooper. And a TV star who appears alongside Matt LeBlanc. Now, to be honest, I was hoping this intro would end with the words Courtney Cox. It's Top Gear's Rory Reid. We begin with round Round one, Home Truths, where our panellists read out a statement from the card in front of them. To make things harder, they've never seen the card before, so they've no idea what they'll be faced with. It's up to the opposing team to sort the fact from the fiction. Richard, you're first up.
Instead of rock, paper, scissors, I prefer to play my own version of the game, which is worm, pigeon, shotgun.
Please, team.
Right.
What beats what? Like, what is superior to what?
It's pretty obvious, isn't it?
What beats shotgun?
Pigeon eat worm.
How does a worm beat a shotgun?
By crawling into the barrel. I mean, how do you think?
What's the hand actions?
Well, shotgun.
Yeah.
Easy. Worm.
Oh.
And... OK, let's have a little game. Me v you.
Just before we start this very competitive bout, tell us what tops what.
It's quite simple. Pigeon eats worm.
The shotgun eats the pigeon.
No, it doesn't eat the pigeon.
The pigeon shoots the worm with the shotgun.
This is so much you're deliberately trying to make this complicated.
I just want
he's
the
genuinely
truth. I just want to get to the bottom of this.
OK.
Don't think of me as Rob Brydon. Think of me as Robert Mueller. I will not rest until I find out what's happening.
That makes me Trump.
Yes, it does.
Oh, I don't like the thought of that.
You're a lot smaller, though, so you're Mueller light.
So, you know the rules. It's going to be the best of three.
Best of three?
I've got my own technique, by the way. I'm not going to use my hands.
Now, you've been warned about this.
I think you know which one I'm going to do, don't you? I'm not going to be big-headed. It's not a shotgun.
It's not even a worm, is it? Let's be honest. All right, here we go. Get ready.
OK.
1, 2, 3.
I'll tell you what, we all thought it was ridiculous. We're all into it now, aren't we? Are you ready?
Yeah.
1, 2, 3. Worm.
Sorry.
Shotgun him. Shotgun him.
OK, let's play. Richard needs just one win. He'll have victory.
Yeah,
If
Rob,
Lee...
I think they're following it.
It's a shame we won't now have time to play Would I Lie to You?
Here we go. Come on.
OK, 1, 2, 3.
Shotgun!
It's a convincing win for Richard the Big Man Osman.
So, what do we think?
To see.
I think it's plausible. I'm going to go true.
Yeah, I thought it was a lie until we played it.
Yeah.
And when we played it, I thought, panning out this.
Yeah.
OK, you're saying it's true. Richard, is it true or is it a lie?
It is... a lie.
Rory, you're next.
OK. I am in an ongoing feud with a cat who walked 100 miles to torment me.
David's team.
Who's this, the cat?
It doesn't belong to anyone. It's feral. The cat is essentially a criminal, in my eyes. He attacks my cats. He breaks into my house.
He breaks it? How do you mean breaks into your house?
Is anyone going to do the cat burglar joke, or we're letting it go? I don't mind. I'll hand it over if anyone wants it. Anyone want it?
When you say breaks into your house, do you
Yeah,
mean
it's a cat
he
burglar.
just walks in?
Get rid of the first bit,
Yeah, how does it get in?
First of all, he just walked in through the cat flap because I have my own cat.
Right, that's not breaking in. That is, you cannot blame a cat for walking through a cat flap.
I now have a more advanced cat flap, which doesn't quite stop him 100% of the time.
What is the new cat flap technique? Is it a chip cat flap?
Yes.
So you've chipped your two cats with a chip cat flap, but the feral cat sometimes
Are you
hacks
Dr.
in.
Zeus?
What he does is the batteries in the cat flap only last 6 weeks. So he systematically tests the cat flap to see when the batteries have been exhausted, and then when they run out, it releases completely, and then he can gain
Does
access.
he sit on the outside looking at other cats going, I can wait?
So what does the cat do once it gains access?
He beats up my cats, he eats their food, and then he sleeps in their bed.
No.
So is it like a sort of violent Goldilocks?
This 100, you said 100 miles.
Yes, I did.
Talk a little bit more about that.
I called the RSPCA to get rid of this cat. They refused to come out, but they did supply me with a trap. I trapped it, caught it, took it to the local vet. They then said, we'll release it.
Oh, right.
I said, you can't release it near my house because it will just come right back.
Right.
And that's when they said, yep, we'll get the RSPCA to take it to a cat sanctuary 100 miles away.
No. Up in the sky. No.
I don't think the RSPCA would allow that.
What would allow it to be taken away to a cat
Taken
sanctuary?
away from its family.
But that's the one, it's not its
What do you
family.
mean? How do you know it's not got a family? So you don't.
I do. If it does have a family, it doesn't like them very much because it lives with me.
They could be worried sick.
The vet says the RSPCA will take this 100 miles away to a sanctuary.
Yeah, give or take.
What happens then?
Well, I have probably 6 weeks of bliss of no feral cat interfering with my cats.
So then what happened?
I was quite sad that Mark Dennis was no longer around.
Who?
Mark Dennis.
Who is Mark Dennis?
Mark Dennis is the cat.
And why Mark
So
Dennis?
bad you named him twice.
Because the cat was a black cat. He was a dark menace, but I didn't want to, you know, paint him with that brush, so I decided to soften it a little bit and call him Mark Dennis.
And then what happened?
He found his way back.
From 100 miles away.
Do you know for a fact they took him 100 miles away? They might, because that sounded unlikely.
No, I believe them, though, because I kept in touch with them. I was worried about the cat, because when I had taken it in, the last few times when it had burgled my house, it had, a slight infection in its lungs, and it would snore loudly at night, like a fully grown man would snore.
So you would hear it snoring in the garden?
In my kitchen.
Oh, he'd break into the kitchen, beat up your cats, eat all the food, and then have a really loud sleep.
When you put it like that, it sounds ridiculous.
So describe, if you can, the moment when Mark Dennis returned, because it must have been quite dramatic.
And noisy.
Sorry, you're taking me back.
Yeah.
Again, it was the snoring. I thought, it can't be Mark Dennis, because he's 100 miles away. I went down, and then he did the usual thing. He ran for the cat flap and ran into the garden.
Diane, what are you thinking?
Well, at first I didn't believe when he said the RSPCA drove it 100 miles. But then he's naming it, and it's got a lung infection.
Yeah.
Yeah, the name is the... I mean, it's a good name to come up with, Mark Dennis, Dark Menace.
I think it's true.
I think it's true.
True.
So you're going to say true?
So we're going to say true.
OK. Rory, was it true or was it a lie?
Well, it was very true.
Yes. Our next round is called This Is My, where we bring on a mystery guest who has a close connection to one of our panellists. Now, this week, each of Lee's team will claim it's them that has the genuine connection to the guest, and it's up to David's team to spot who's telling the truth. So please welcome this week's special guest, Jamie. Rory, who is Jamie to you?
This is Jamie, and after a mix-up in a tattoo parlour, we now have each other's tattoo.
Daisy, how do you know Jamie?
This is my ex-boyfriend, Jamie, and I used to put sleeping pills in my parents' tea so I could sneak him into the house.
And finally, Lee, what is your relationship with Jamie?
This is Jamie. While staying at an Airbnb, I mistook him for an intruder and attacked him with a whisk.
So, there we have it. David's team, where would you like to begin?
Daisy, when did you go out with Jamie?
When I was about 14, 15.
Where did you get the sleeping pills?
My mother had them to get to sleep.
What was the drug?
It was just regular kind of night-old sleeping pills.
I don't know.
Over the counter?
Over the counter.
But they weren't prescription. They weren't like some hardcore thing from a doctor. So you were trying to get them just to nod off a little bit earlier than they would have done.
Yes.
What sort of time would you administer the dose?
So I would administer, especially when they're watching Inspector Morse. So I'd say, "Can I make you a cup of tea?" They'd say, "Yes, please," and I'd be in the kitchen putting them in the.
How many times did you do this? How often did you do this as a tactic?
I think for the duration of our relationship.
Which was?
About a year.
What was it about Jamie that was so unacceptable to your waking parents?
Because he was a very angry goth. And he didn't treat me very well.
See, I wasn't necessarily assuming that your parents didn't approve of the relationship, just that they didn't approve of you, the thought of you holding hands with him.
No.
Did you think you were coming on Jeremy Kyle?
So you've drugged your parents. What happens next?
Then they go to sleep.
What, in the chair?
No, they say...
And you say, "Come on, in you come, my lover, don't worry about them, they're out for the count."
They say, strangely, this episode of Inspector Morse doesn't seem as gripping as normal. Let's get an early night. Who cares who did it?
They get very tired watching the show. They poodle off up to bed. At this point, he's finished work at the Chinese restaurant, so I sneak him round the back gate.
And because he's a goth, he's very well camouflaged in the dark.
Then Mum goes to bed, and we just listen to Iron Maiden very quietly and write goth poetry together.
I've never heard that euphemism.
No,
OK, and this happened for about a year, and were your parents unaware of the relationship altogether?
No, because they woke up once. And...
You hadn't got the chloroform and the hanky.
So they woke up, and my mum walks into the room to find some black goth hair on my pillow and says, "Paul," which is my dad, "get down here now. Daisy's smuggled in Jamie. Kick him out of the house and say something responsible." So my dad said, "Get out my house, you pillock."
OK, now then, what about Rory?
OK, so Rory, what was going to be your tattoo, and what tattoo did you end up with?
I wanted a tattoo of a crescent moon, quite classy.
Yeah.
Instead, easy. Instead, I got a picture of Popeye's face.
And where?
Just there on my left shoulder blade.
Have you still got it?
Yes.
And how did the mix-up occur?
We were on holiday in Thailand together. Bit of a lads booze up. One thing led to another. We all got a bit merry, shall we say. And I don't think it was Jamie's idea. I think it's probably Sam, my other friend, who said, "Let's all get tattoos."
Yeah, that sounds like Sam. That's a kind of...
It's a very Sam thing to do.
Yeah.
When was this, Rory?
Late 2000s.
The late 2000s?
Sorry, early 2000s, my bad.
The early 2000s.
Well, the late 2000s would be nearly 1,000 years. A long time in the future.
So you're in Thailand.
Yeah.
Talk us through the tattoo parlour. Where was it situated?
Koh Phangan, So you fly in, you get to Bangkok, and then I think...
If you're lucky.
And then you travel to Koh Phangan, and there's this little parlour, and they're used to tourists coming in all the time, and they have multiple beds, if I remember correctly.
How classy.
And not that kind of establishment. And then you choose out of a book what you want.
Yeah.
And then you kind of go...
I know what a book is.
I'll have the number 4, Jamie wanted the number 5, or whatever
With rice,
it was.
or...?
Not that kind of establishment. And then they
So it is neither a restaurant nor a brothel. The kind of establishment it is a tattoo parlour with beds and a low standard of administrative competence.
You'd have gone out a storm on this stag weekend, David.
Rory, how long was it before you realised the mistake?
Immediately. Yeah, you stand up, there's a mirror there, you go like that. And there wasn't a picture of a classy crescent moon, there was a picture of Popeye's face with the pipe and everything.
Who was more upset by this outcome, you or Jamie?
Me, by far.
Right.
Absolutely. He's now got a classy crescent moon on his back. I've got Popeye. Are you not following this?
OK, now then, what about Lee? Remind us, Lee, of your claim.
So this is Jamie, and while staying in an Airbnb, I mistook him for an intruder, and I attacked him with a whisk.
OK, and where was the Airbnb?
The Airbnb was in Rye.
And why were you staying in an Airbnb in Rye?
Because I like to get away from my family, full stop. I like to go away and write and just get some peace and quiet, so I go away for 2 or 3 days, occasionally, very occasionally.
Why did you
Get married in the first place? But I don't know. I've asked myself every day the same question.
Why did you choose a whisk over a knife?
Well, as you may know, that a lot of people that are attacked in their home are often attacked with their own weapons, because what they do is they take a weapon, like a hammer, and they go, get out my house, and then the burglar panics, and then he grabs the hammer, and a fight ensues, and then the person ends up getting injured. So when I opened the drawer, I had to make a selection. And I couldn't go knife for the reasons I've just explained. I looked at big rolling pin. I could get attacked with that. But you can't go the other way either. You can't pick up the Mr. Mengele mould. And I had to find out what was the perfect middle ground between... It looks aggressive and offensive, but I think it'll be all right if he tries to hit me with it. What's the most he's going to do? Mess my hair up?
And you wouldn't want a knife, you wouldn't want to kill him. You'd have a whisk, you could just beat him.
You beat with a fork, you whisk with a whisk.
The applause begs to differ. Let's set the scene. Paint a more vivid picture for us.
It was daytime.
It was daytime?
Yeah. I mistook him for an intruder because I subsequently found out that on the email that was sent by the person who owned the house, they said, oh, by the way, someone's coming, whatever it was, Saturday afternoon to have a look at the wood-burning stove. I hope that's OK. There'll only be 20 minutes or whatever. So I was asleep, and it was about midday, something like that, and I hear a noise downstairs. And then he starts playing around with the wood-burning stove.
Oh, no.
And I get worried. I think someone's down there.
Because the noise is sort of...
Sorry, well, you are Welsh. Are you asking me the time? And so I go downstairs, and I see this figure. I panic. And I was going to say, get out, or else. I don't know what I was thinking. I just ran at him.
I'll whip you to a soft peak.
Oh, I definitely didn't say that to him. No, never say that to a strange man in your house, David. And I whacked him on the back really hard, just kept whacking him and whacking him.
You hadn't previously challenged him or asked him why he was there. You just went straight in and battered him with a hand whisk.
I just panicked and I was
just straight in,
Crept
went
to the kitchen,
got the hand, batter.
No, there's no batter involved.
We need an answer. So David's team, is Jamie Rory's branded buddy, Daisy's smuggled sweetheart, or Lee's innocent intruder?
What do you think, Diane?
Well, I'm not sure about night owl. I don't think it's that strong. So I think Daisy's lying.
Yeah.
How old do you have to be to know about Popeye?
Oh, that's...
Because I think...
Why would he pick... Yeah.
It doesn't ring true.
OK.
You know that if it's not Daisy and not Rory, that means it's Lee.
Can't be Lee.
So, what's it going to be, David?
I think it's Daisy.
You think it's Daisy?
I could be persuaded that it's Daisy.
We'll go with Daisy.
You're going to say Daisy? Yeah. Jamie, would you please reveal your true identity?
I'm Jamie, and I used to sneak into Daisy's house.
Well done, guys. Yes, Jamie is Daisy's smuggled sweetheart. Of course, this is not something you should ever do, putting sleeping pills in someone's tea. And thank you very much, Jamie. Which brings us to our final round, Quickfire Lies. And we start with... It's Lee.
I was genuinely invited to Harry and Meghan's wedding today, but I said no because I had to come here and do this.
David's team.
Why were you invited?
Well, that, David, is as much of a shock to me as it is to you. I'm on
Do
the
you
telly.
know, for example, Prince Harry or Meghan Markle?
Well, I've met Prince Harry, and he was very nice, and he did say that he was a fan of this show. So he's definitely seen me, because I'm on this show.
If this is true, it's a bit of a blow to me and Rob, because...
Well, this is...
I wasn't invited. Maybe Rob was as well.
I really can't say.
I think we know if Rob was invited, he would be able to say.
Well, this is interesting, because I want to know if you were invited, because as soon as I got the invite, I met Prince Harry, and I know he's a fan of the show, so I immediately assumed that you two had been invited as well.
Yeah.
So I went to phone you, and I phoned you first, and I put the phone down, because I didn't want to ask in case you hadn't been invited. I thought it wouldn't be a good idea.
Yes, it would be a horrible thing to let slip, wouldn't it?
Yes.
If you'd been invited, it would be a horrible thing to do to someone under any circumstances, even if it wasn't in public.
So you think he's going, OK, George Clooney...
Yeah.
David Beckham... Oprah Winfrey... Lee.
Oh, so you didn't even know my surname.
I should point out to people watching at home that it is the royal wedding day today. Yeah. As we record this, it happened today, didn't it?
And there was a lovely wedding as well.
Look, it brought people together, didn't it? And you know what I'm glad about? Yeah. I'm glad he wasn't there.
Yes. That was faulty for me, I think.
Yeah.
Did it come through the post?
It went through my agent.
So it was more like a booking. Were they expecting you to do some of your silly humour or something?
Did you have a +1 as well?
Yes, I did.
And so your wife was happy for you to come and do this instead of going to the royal wedding?
Well, actually, my wife couldn't go anyway. So that was the other problem as well. And then I thought, well, who would I take? And I did actually think of one of you two. I thought that's going to be more awkward. So I immediately... But then I thought maybe it's not awkward if David's been invited, as I suspected, and Rob hasn't. I'll take Rob. And then we're all going. There was a lot of social etiquette. I was a mess.
That is the other question. Why didn't... Because the wedding finished...
Well, this is the irritating
at about
thing.
1.
Yes,
and then there was a lunch.
I got the invite that said the wedding is going to be at 12 o'clock. And I thought in my head, no one would say 12 o'clock, meaning that's when the wedding is. That would mean, you know, you turn up at 12 o'clock and then you go through all the rigmarole of security, blah, 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 and actually the wedding's going to be about 2. Then you've got the actual ceremony, then you've got the meal. I wasn't going to get here because...
Yes, it's like when you buy theatre tickets. The time is just when they think you should leave home.
Look, lads, I appreciate you're angry.
Yeah. Very angry.
I didn't write the invites.
Very angry and very hurt and very bruised, whether this is true or not. That's the terrible thing, because my thought processes have gone down the lines of it being true, and it feels like I've been through it emotionally, even if I haven't.
OK, time to decide.
Well, I think it's unlikely. I'd love it to be true, but I think it's unlikely.
I wouldn't.
This has been... this has been one of the most psychologically damaging thought experiments I've ever gone through. And so I couldn't... I don't think I could pronounce the words, I think this is true. Oh, I just did.
You think it's true?
We're going to say lie?
I think lie.
Lie. We're going to say lie.
I've a horrible feeling in the pit of my stomach that it's true. It's like waiting with a specialist for a result.
Yeah. Ironically, if this is true, when that moment comes for both of us, it'll just be a mercy.
Tell us. They think it's a lie. I pray it's a lie.
It is, in fact, true.
Well, I hope that's the last question of the evening.
Well,
how did you
thank
keep
you
that
for
a
watching.
secret?
That's it.
Yeah, I mean, thank you for watching.
Oh, actually, there's something else as well. Sorry, I've got to tell you this as well, which is quite important. This is a true story as well. I was lying. Look at his smile on his little face. Look at his little happy face.
You're okay, it's all right.
It's all right. Yes! Praise be, it was a lie. Of course it was a lie. Lee wasn't invited, of course he wasn't, to Harry and Meghan's wedding.
Do you know what I think? I think the producers of this show are just trying to turn us against each other.
They're doing a good job. And that noise signals time is up. It's the end of the show. I can reveal David's team has won by 4 points to 0. Thank you for watching. We'll see you next time. Good night.